the black. Well, I guess you do the intro, right?
Actually, we're gonna have to do 2 intros. So, folks, if you're tuning in, thanks for being here. Thanks for showing up. You're either tuning in to another thrilling episode of
Jive as Alien Podcast.
Yeah.
How many episodes running now? 200 something. Well, just the other day, I guess Beth should be here for that. But normally we get like, if we crack 10 downloads an episode, that's like, wow, that's crazy.
Nice.
Well, not even an episode. I mean, a day. The other day, we had 200 and something downloads in a day. So my little bar chart is all these little tiny things and just profit. So that's pretty cool.
Step 3, profit.
Yeah, I gotta get the Albanian dollars or something coming in. Whatever you got, Yuri uses over there.
Zimbabwe?
Oh hell no, man! Bushelfuls just to buy like a pack of smokes or something. Yeah.
So I actually do have a Zimbabwe dollar. I have a $1 million Zimbabwe dollar.
Well, back then I wonder what did it translate to, like 3 cents, and then now it's probably like 2 cents or more. I don't know.
I don't know what the actual conversion rate is, but I bought it in Old Town Clovis for like $3.
But that's pretty. You hold like the one part of the Zimbabwe part until somebody like, I'll give you $1 million for that. I'm like, yeah, Zimbabwe.
So I am technically a millionaire, suckers.
Yeah, in Zimbabwe, like. Well, no, probably over there you have to be a like multi-billionaire to be, to be middle wage or something.
Yeah. So this is either another thrilling installment of Jive Ass Alien, or you've tuned in to watch the triumphant return of Discussions with Davis.
You guys wished for and prayed for his downfall, but it rises again, like the phoenix, or like morning wood. I don't know.
Like a cockroach, I can't be killed.
Yeah. There's going to be 2 things left after the apocalypse: cockroaches and this show.
That's right. That's right. Now, I had to take some time off with it. The last couple episodes, they were forced. They were stale. We were doing it just to do it. We were having fun doing it. We were playing board games and such. But,
nice. Yeah.
Which is fine for Beth and I, but I can't imagine how boring that was for anybody that actually bothered to watch it.
Well, next time try Battleship, B to 9 or whatever.
Well, yeah. we played Clue.
Well, keep the murder mystery alive. Yeah.
Yeah. The Myrtles.
The Myrtles we wrote.
I'm telling you, that one. What's her Lady Daisy or something like that?
Yeah.
She has got to be something. She has got a Dame Daisy or something. Yeah.
She's been dodging us so far.
Like 3 murders in one house, and she just keeps slipping through, man.
I thinned my thing because we could have done a quick one too, but let's gonna see, like, is Beth our weak link in our Myrtle? Is Beth covering up for the murders? Oh man, that's gonna be a season finale type shit.
No, because if playing Clue with Beth has taught me anything, it's that she was born to be a detective.
Well, see, who would you suspect the least? The detective, man. Remember the last 2, Logico, it seemed like this son of a bitch is like setting these up, man, because he's just too...
That actually did happen.
Where like...
a investigator, detective or whatever, was...
Not arson, right? Because they're always guilty.
He just always seemed to have the clue that was, that would crack the case, and people were just like, how does this always happen?
He's good. To find,
he was the one killing people or committing the crimes, and then solving it. Well, I mean, talk about ultimate job security.
Yeah. Like, we have no murders in this town. It's like, all of a sudden we have 10, but they're all solved by that guy, so it's all good. Yeah, it washes out. Yeah. It's just a coincidence.
Who set fire to the used car salesman?
Yeah, and I got insurance, guys. It works out. The problem solved. Nobody needs to investigate. Don't worry. I put away all the evidence in my basement. It's all good. Oh man, what did I say over there? Dogfight? What's that? Is that an old school game?
It is.
Because I see MB like Milton Berle,
Milton Bradley. It is a board game from like the 50s.
Yeah, that, like, the design from out here looks like some guy in World War II carried it with him. And it's called
It's actually
Dogfight.
based on World War One.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, let me go grab it.
Yeah, I saw Dogfight. Well, honestly, from this angle, it looked like dog. So I was curious, why do you have a lengthy box called Dog in your below your Super Nintendo? Is that Super Nintendo faded yellow by any chance? I can't see from here.
Super Nintendo?
Yeah. Does it have that? It doesn't have that sweet coat of yellow on top where it's faded out. It's easy to wash if I remember though.
Like Windex, I think. No, it's still nice and gray. Proper 90s gray. Dude, seriously, what the fuck was it? What is it about the 90s? So much gray.
Well, we had, when was the beige era? Was that the 2000s, or are we in that era? I don't follow trends. I just follow trends enough to make fun of them and laugh, but I never to whether, I'm dressed appropriately or not, obviously. The croc.
It just, so many, like, plastic things.
Yeah.
If it was plastic, it was gray.
Well, it's probably the molds, you know what I mean? Back 90s, I think, was like when plastic was king, We made everything out of plastic. Cars started getting like softer, stuff like that. So I don't know. It just sort of, that was the and I'm sure all that gray is giving people cancer, you know what I mean?
Probably.
Well, I know according to California, just
everything.
Cough drops, got cancer. And, toilet paper I use this morning.
I actually found out some history on the history of that. Yeah, you're talking about the Prop 65 logo?
Yeah.
That's on everything?
Yeah.
Okay, so that got passed back in like the mid-'80s.
Really?
Yeah, it's been that long.
They just enforced it now, or?
No, it's because of the price of litigation. The price of hiring a lawyer.
Oh.
Okay, so, and liability insurance. So they passed it back in the 80s to put on things that had, like, they were finally admitting things like lead and asbestos were dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so they started using that. When they first passed it, it only had, like, I don't know, it was like 200 things that actually had to have that label on it.
Like the most toxic stuff or whatever.
Right,
yeah.
right.
No question about it, that is toxic. Yeah.
Like asbestos.
Or lead, yeah.
Or lead, yeah. Don't drink cyanide. It's bad for you.
I don't know. In the right context, it could give you happiness. Look at that. Callback. Nice.
There it is.
Yeah, that was funny. I'm trying to check out the...
But over time, they added things to the list that are supposed to be, covered by that label, that warning label.
Yeah.
So there's now so many things on that list, and the costs of if you make
Labeling
a product
everything.
that has something that's on that list and you didn't put that label on there, and somebody finds out, you get in trouble or whatever, or some lawyer with
somebody
nothing
drinks,
to do.
somebody dies, on toxic slime that, like, it didn't say it was, deadly or could kill me or whatever. Yeah.
You don't even have to go that far. Just some lawyer with nothing to do, looking through your
This
product.
isn't labeled. Yeah.
Yeah, this is on, your item contains triethylsulfite, and that's on the list of things that are dangerous.
This is sulfuric acid. Like,
yeah.
You're not supposed to drink this. Like, it's fertilizer. I'm not going to drink it.
So manufacturers, to kind of CYA, to cover their assets, they just slap that sticker on everything because it's cheaper to buy that sticker and put it on there than it is to run that risk of getting dragged into court.
Or I think to get, properly identified where, you get tested and then so you get... I think I remember hearing that once it popped up, and I used to bug because I used to do purchasing at that time, and so I would ask them, like, why do you have to tell me every time? So whenever they start, I bought a pack of paper for a certain printer at work or whatever. Then they're like, I have to tell you about, like, and so I started cutting them off, like, I know it's gonna give me cancer. Can we move on with the order? I don't care, like, whatever. First off, it's not my paper, so I'm not gonna get cancer regardless. That's kind of the main thing. Like, I really don't care. But second off, like, I'm not gonna ingest this or nothing, so relax,
Okay, so this is made. I inherited this from Beth's mom and her uncles.
They played it when they were growing up.
Yeah, so this is legit old.
I like the warpness of it, man. It gives it, like, character. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's based on. It's a dogfight air battle game, World War I.
American Heritage, that's the brand or something?
Right
at the top of it.
Oh, yeah, American Heritage.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny to me because...
Don't tell me it's made in China.
Probably not. This is back...
Not in the 50s,
This is back when everything... No, it says Made in USA right there on the insert. So, yeah.
I'm kind of... if you make a point to emphasize it, I kind of get a little suspicious. Like, I got to see your nation of origin. So what is this?
I'm just looking for a date. Oh, copyright 1963.
Okay, yeah. It's about the 80s when we started losing our way. That's when everybody was buying the Samsung TVs and, Japanese products so much cheaper. And then your Hondas and your... Not to be like, trash talking when most of my vehicles are.
Could you be more xenophobic, Tony?
Yeah. Those
damn foreigners are ruining our country.
Those dang Hyundais.
I have no idea how to play this.
You've never played it?
Nope.
Oh, okay. That's a good...
but it's... so you've got the RAF versus the Kaiser Wilhelm.
You see the little biplane there.
Oh, okay.
I gotta play with little props, little propellers. Look at that.
It's got propellers. You got 2 dice.
It's made out of plastic. I feel like...
And, yeah.
Kind of feel like metal at first, but... See, this is a good plastic. This is the kind of plastic you don't want to ingest because it will kill you.
It definitely will. It may or may not have asbestos in it.
I mean, I bet if I went and used a black light after handling this, my hand would glow at least a little bit.
So, and it gets better than that. It's got a whole...
Platoon?
Squadron.
Oh, squadron.
Come on, you were enlisted.
I wasn't in the Air Force. I was just a guy in commo, so I just played on my phone all day.
Took videos of yourself shooting at the range.
Nah, I'm mainly crying when, the gunshots would go off.
I love this, they've got the RAF guy chasing the Red Baron there.
Oh, that is, yeah. That's funny. So that's how they come apart. I just looking at the planes, I wish you could buy a brand new to put it together. Look at that.
I know, that just looks like fun. Just kind of dinking with everything.
Now all you need is a little army men, though.
There may be some in here.
Jack Stuffle 10.
Jog Stuffle.
95th Squadron and 94th Squadron. So the whole point is to like shoot down the other planes, I'm guessing.
So you've got these little... like I said, I
pillars.
Literally have no idea what all of this does.
I like look at that little design. That's pretty neat.
Those are anti-aircraft guns.
Oh, sweet. Those are one of the what do you call it? Unsung heroes of the war, man. Whenever I watch the videos and they show those big old guns just going boom, I just think like, holy shit, that's terrifying.
It is artillery was definitely like in wide use.
Well, imagine shooting, you're just being next to the artillery is like a sort of frightening situation. And I'm sure they didn't have earplugs back then, you know what I mean?
Oh God, no. Those guys all came back going, huh? What?
Look out for those cars. What? Man. And then they went to the VA and they're like, oh, I can't help you. You have to have at least 90% loss of hearing. You only have 87. And it's like,
what?
Yeah, what was that? I'm going to die? Oh, okay. All right, I'll just lie here and die. I served your country. What else?
This game has been in this box so long that the rubber bands holding these cards have disintegrated. Like, just...
Oh, wow, that's cool. It looks like...
something out of an archaeological dig.
It looks like bacon bits.
It does look like bacon bits, you're right.
Wow, it even comes with the short history of air fighters. A concise history of World War I fighter pilots and the planes they flew to glory. Well, that's like the first World War we used planes. So,
that would literally be, yes, the First World War, because prior to that, planes didn't exist.
Well, that's just wild how, hey, there's this little flimsy vehicle that fires death bullets. We want you to go up in the completely air and have a parachute just in case you don't get shot at.
Neither of those things existed when the war started.
Damn.
The first, at first, aviation was so novel that pilots wouldn't even try to shoot each other. There was like this respect between the two of them.
I thought they were just, trying their best not to fall out of the sky,
Oh, that too. And planes are so rickety and flimsy.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, World War I starts 1914. The Wright brothers' flight at Kitty Hawk, it had only been like 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
So these things are spinly, they're unwieldy, they're hard to handle.
Well, that's all wood, right?
Or wood frame with cloth draped tightly.
I forgot that.
With wrapped in cloth, doped on there, and it's just really tight.
So, like, wrap your underwear around like a 2x4, and that's basically what you had. These trains were built out of.
More or less, yeah.
Well, today's underwear material, it would have been a lot more sturdy, I would think, but.
It was a very I forget exactly what it was. Just like
The
nylon.
fiber?
It
Yeah.
was like a nylon fabric.
It wasn't cotton, that breathes. It was some very like weird material that they were experimenting with. Yeah.
And they would stretch it over the wooden frames, and then they would actually slather something on it to cause it to
Harden it?
shrink and
okay.
harden.
Yeah.
So that's why it'd be so stiff, and it wouldn't flap around and buffer. Like the top of a convertible.
Yeah,
On the freeway,
yeah.
and it's just blah, 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 blah.
Well, usually I see the guys toupee doing that, but yeah,
That too.
Yeah.
So to do, you do that, you're going to lose a lot of your flight characteristics. So that the fabric had to be super tight.
Yeah, you don't want any little. Whoop. Never mind the crazy people that were like walking on the wings, man. I just see that and I'm just like, what is? Were people not
Daredevils, man?
Well, wasn't there enough stuff to die from back in the day? Like nowadays, we have your school shootings and everyone's trying to poison everybody and mentally and literally and whatnot. But back in the day, like you're just like, I'm just gonna stand on this plane while it does 360s. The plane they just built like 2 years before. It's just
okay. So I'll take the Germans with the Fokker D7s with snap-on rings.
those motherfuckers.
You get to be the Americans with the Spad 8.
So what is this little? This is like your little. Is this
I think
only?
that's your hangar.
So it's only 2-player game.
I'm guessing it's a 4 because I've got
2 more cards or 2 more.
So I've got 4 of these little hangar things.
Yeah.
2 have iron crosses on them, so those are the Germans, and then this one's a donkey and a hat.
German. A donkey. Oh,
That one's a
man.
donkey and a hat, so that's Uncle Sam's hat. So I'm guessing those are the American ones.
I like how the donkey. Oh, okay. I was looking at it upside down. It looked like it was dead. It had his legs up like the cartoon animals. Well, dude, put this back. Like, look how delicate it is. Now I don't want to touch nothing. Ever since I saw that rubber band, I gotta say my little.
The curiosity went down. You're like, I don't want to break.
Well, no, my
this.
heavy hands just started getting like, that's why we don't have fine china at home growing up.
Damn it, Tony! This is why we don't have nice things.
That's definitely why we don't have nice things. Because I'll either break them or I will sell them for a tidy profit.
And buy Lego sets.
Hell yeah, man! I got one eye in my. Okay, I see you were joking, so I will refrain from finishing that sentence.
I was not joking because I know that's what you do.
It's been a while, but they keep bringing out too many damn pieces. I'm glad I'm not. I was talking to somebody online. I'm glad I'm not a Star Wars fan because there's no way I would keep up. Every month they put out like 6 new sets. From like hundreds of dollars to $50 or something.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So each plays 2 squadrons. So it is a 2-person game. The object of the game is to shoot down all of the opponent's planes. In each turn, a player puts his planes in flight, moves and dogfights if he can to shoot down his opponent's planes. Players alternate turns, throw dice to decide who goes first. Each player in his turn may place 1 plane in flight from each of his squadrons.
So you can have 2 at a time.
Yeah, and move them. Since a player has 2 squadrons, he is allowed 2 of his planes in flight at any time. He may place only 1 in flight if he desires. To put a plane in flight, place it on the plastic stand and put. Oh, okay, so that's these little critters here. So then, oh, look at that. Yeah.
Oh, it has a little port.
Yeah.
Cool. So, my favorite thing about those shooting planes and stuff is the whole idea. I don't know, when they made it or whatever, but how, they set it up so it shoots like between the blades or whatever.
Yeah.
That's one of the coolest facts I've heard. Like I remember I watched it on History Channel or something. I thought that is freaking cool. Like I never thought of that. Like, well, yeah, if you're firing, without thinking or whatever, you're gonna shred your propeller.
Yeah, the invention of the interrupter was a game changer. Yeah.
That alone I thought was like, who sat there and thought like, okay, let's put the gun, let's aim through our propeller. It's like that's the one thing keeping me up, man.
That would be the Germans.
Oh, they came up with it.
The Fokkers.
Oh, so they were just like, just shoot and don't worry about it. And who invented the interrupter then?
The German aircraft company, the Fokker.
Okay, so they threw their people out there, and then they like, let's try not to kill everybody.
Well, the problem was the first planes going out there into combat. They didn't even shoot at each other until finally their commanders had enough of because planes were used for reconnaissance at first.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Being able to try and see the opponent's troop movements.
Zip in, zip out. Yeah.
Yeah, and some of them even they would try to draw maps as they were going. You'd have 2 guys, pilot
Yeah,
and
co-pilot.
and a co-pilot would either like try to draw stuff, but then photography, like trying to take pictures.
Oh right, yeah.
Of overhead.
That would have been great having the guy with that giant like
my
Wild
God.
West camera.
Yeah, they were mounted to. You didn't like lean out. No, they were
No.
mounted to the side because they were huge and they were heavy.
Yeah, the planes
and they
just
were
tilted
delicate.
over.
Yeah. So they would fly over, and so you got people at the ground trying to shoot at you with their rifles or
blasting
whatever.
at you. Yeah.
And
You're telling the pilot like, okay, can you hold? I gotta hold still for 10 seconds. I can take the picture. Hold still. Hold still. Hold still.
Yeah, stay steady.
Yeah.
They were taking a lot of shots here.
Yeah.
So the commanders had enough of that and like, no. You got two guys in the plane. One of you can keep the plane level. The other can shoot back. So they started taking rifles with them or pistols.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it was completely hopeless.
Well, and that's how like pilots, started carrying weapons, right? Because that to me was also kind of crazy how like, you get shot down in enemy territory and you're like, what are they gonna just wave you through? Like, all right, buddy, you serve your purpose. Just go ahead back to your line. Like, no, now you're a prime target.
Yeah. So no, they would keep like a rifle or a pistol with them in case they crash landed somewhere and had to fight their way back to line.
They have one because I almost bought one like a little 22 a few years back, where like you put everything into the stock of it, the butt stock of it, and so the entire rifle is like the size of a butt stock. And so you take it apart and it has like a little 5 clip on it or something, and it's kind of neat though because you sit there and put it together and then you're ready to hopefully when they come at you with 50 cows, maybe your little 22 pew pew pew, well it'll survive something.
No, if I evade and escape, you were just like ninja out.
You're not trying to like take down enemy.
You're not going Rambo. You're just like, let me out of here.
Your adrenaline just shot and you're just like, I gotta just sprint. Forrest Gump that bastard out of the way.
Try not to stamp on a landmine.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, those fucking
because not only were you behind enemy lines, you had to sneak your way out from behind enemy lines into no man's land.
Dude, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So no man's land is nothing but a mixture of mud, dead bodies, and landmines,
and wires and stuff like that.
Broken shit and barbed wire. Yeah,
and all your dead homies there.
And then try to get back to your lines, and hopefully nobody on your line thinks you're trying to raid or anything, and just shoots you out of panic.
That would be a cool episode to do about like, because I'm sure there's tons of stories about that of like the friendly fire, or like where. Opposing forces are fighting each other. Like I saw something, I want to say it's World War II, where like a Japanese planes were trying to land like in an American carrier or something. Because like there was a little meme thing and it said like Japanese pilots wondering why the carrier has American flags, and then American carrier wondering why the Japanese planes are like coming. And I just thought like that to me is hilarious, man. I mean that makes MASH seem like just evil. I don't know. Well, anyway, before we get too far, we're supposed to talk about cars. We talked about...
Oh, yeah, you had some car rant shit. All right.
Well, we had cars in the air, now we got cars on the ground. How's that?
And they're trying to put cars in the air, and I'm against it.
Well, what's funnier is, like, you have these cars in the air, and then we're going to talk about current-day cars that are basically nowhere near as dependable as these bastards that, again, had to fly in the air on wood and canvas and, had some guy firing through the propeller. And it's just wild.
I can actually explain to you a little bit how that works.
The interrupter thing?
Yes.
Oh, I go ahead.
Okay, so...
Don't let me interrupt. All right, go. Just leave it there.
Just press B. Press B. There you go.
It sounds very faint in mine, but I think it's my bad hearing. Yeah. Raise your hand. And I just sit there with my hands down. Why did you give me a quiet test?
No, we do that at work because a number of us watch Archer. So every time there's an explosion, you get that wing, that wing sound afterwards. It's just in there.
Trying to get that back out. So interrupter.
So okay, so the very earliest planes they were used for reconnaissance. They were not actually armed at all.
They still got shot at, but they weren't necessarily like
from the ground.
Yeah.
But they weren't shooting at each other until they were ordered to start shooting at each other. So they would take rifles with them and try and shoot at. It's like.
Are they shooting like over the pilot though? The co-pilot like shooting, resting the long barrel on his...
it was jousting. They would try and sneak up. One would try and sneak up on the other, or they would just be jousting at each other. Imagine leaning out of this fucking plane as it's bouncing around the place.
No canopy.
Open top.
Yeah.
And so and you're doing like 100 miles an hour because you're trying to not like the other guy get a.
You got your little scarf buffeting in the back.
Yeah. So two planes are heading at each other at like 75 to 100 miles an hour.
Squinting like I think that's a plane. Yeah, I think
you're
that's
holding on to a Lee Enfield rifle that holds 5 rounds.
You're trying to see your, the insignia on the wing to see if like is that an enemy? Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like.
That was it. Damn it. That was the guy.
Yeah. Line it up. Let's try it again.
Yeah, let's go for the second shot. Yeah.
Yeah, and so eventually they started mounting guns to the planes, usually in the back, so the co-pilot could man those.
Yeah.
While he's not taking pictures, he could man those.
Damn.
And
the picture thing. Yeah.
Gotta do recon.
I forgot. Yeah.
That was their whole purpose.
Yeah. Otherwise, what good are you for? Yeah.
That's right. And so they started mounting it, but usually mounted by the tail gunner, making him effectively a tail gunner.
Yeah.
It wasn't until later, and as technology progressed, they started mounting guns on the wings for the pilot to be able to control, not wanting to shoot through their own propeller, so they would mount out on the wings.
Right.
Well, it was a little bit harder to aim those.
Yeah, I'm sure they didn't have them on bearings or nothing. It's just like straight shot. Yeah,
it's fixed.
Yeah, fixed. Yeah.
And the bullets would converge at a set distance, 200 yards or whatever.
Yeah.
And
maximum kill zone.
200 meters, sorry.
Yeah.
So the company making the most planes for the Germans, for the, Jagdstaffel, and was Fokker, whereas we had mostly Curtiss and Douglas.
Yeah, that doesn't sound as sort of significant names,
Douglas?
Like, yeah, who do you guys got building your place? Hey, we got Curtis and Douglas over there. Hey, that's me.
Well, those were the two main companies, but they made those companies made a lot of planes.
Oh, yeah. That's why we had the steel, what do you call it? Where basically we couldn't use steel for anything else.
Yeah. I drink here.
Faulkner. Those motherfuckers.
How the interrupter works is it's basically... Okay, so pull trigger or press button on the controls. You got the joystick.
Joystick, yeah.
You got the stick. You press a button on top of that. That activates a gun that's mounted in front of you. So you don't want to shoot your propeller.
Yeah.
So what it is there's it's
like a little bump.
Basically a cam.
Yeah, there you go.
That turns the gun off when as the propeller's coming up. That cam comes up.
Yeah.
Gun off. Gun back on.
Yeah, it's like So and I mean it's kind of I guess it's like three of them, right?
So yeah, or however many propellers you have.
Right.
So it would just be like, but it's not. It's.
Yeah, I mean, if you're listening, it's almost like you can't really percept it because it's so fast. Yeah.
Well, also pilots still have to be very careful with their ammo usage.
Yeah.
And that is not an endless ammo. Unlike video games, you do not have infinite ammo.
Yeah.
You really only have about 30 seconds worth of ammo.
Well, yeah, I was curious about like the ammo clips or the ammo belts. Like,
belts, yes.
Yeah, how many ammo belts they have.
Why do people always say clip? Like,
well, I think like machine gun clip, like, ammo clip.
It's not a clip. It's a magazine. You should know this.
It clips in,
No, it's a magazine.
It's a clip.
If it's a box with bullets in it, that's a magazine.
A box with bullets? You mean like one of those ammo cans?
No. And okay, you had to use a M16, yes?
Yes, very crappy weapon, but sure.
Your ammo for that is it's in a magazine. That's a magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a clip, it's a magazine.
Well, I have
clip is a strip of metal that the bullets clip onto.
Oh, like when you reload it?
Yeah. Think like a M1 Garand.
Damn, okay.
Or Springfield.
Okay.
And, the 1903 Springfield you probably had used for parade. To load one of those, the bullets came on little 5-round stripper clips that you would shove the ammo into, and the clip would fall off.
Well, yeah, for the M16, the same way. You go like that, but I don't know, just get stuck. Ammo clip.
Because Hollywood says that, and it's wrong.
Hollywood's wrong about everything, so...
Just about.
If we went and try to, separate what Hollywood gets right and wrong, it'd be a very short episode.
Oh, no, I could rant about it all day.
Well, let's rant about cars.
Because I can't watch action movies. It's really hard for me to watch action movies, especially car chase scenes, because there's part of my brain that never shuts the up and let me watch this.
So you can't watch like Ghost Rider when he rides the motorcycle up the side of a building? Like that's a little... What about the Matrix? Because man, the Matrix must drive you nuts. You have, how's the guy doing 360 flips in the air? How does he pull down the helicopter with nothing but fire hose or whatever it was?
It's like, I'm pretty sure that doesn't work. Well, I mean, okay, more specifically, car chase movies.
Yeah.
Or car chase scenes. Terminator 3 comes to mind.
This old gag. I know the computers. They all have computers in them, man. Just
Right.
accept it. Not a 1972.
Not in the late
Nissan.
90s when that movie came out. None of those
Terminator
emerged. Not a fucking Crown Vic. It's like, yeah, the computer. Okay, the ignition's computer controlled. The fuel is computer controlled.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
You could hack into those white remotely, maybe. None
Not
of
like
those
the
cars had
accelerator?
keyless go like we do now. The key fob, no,
Yeah,
you had to
turn
manually
on.
turn a key.
Oh yeah.
So, but okay, maybe she's.
Hey man, but it's Skynet. You don't understand Skynet. Skynet's more advanced than we are.
You're right. I don't understand Skynet, but I understand from the 90s.
From the 90s, yeah. They didn't have that.
I
GPS.
drive a 90s car every day.
You're like, I wish it would have auto start.
Sometimes.
All right, so well, kind of on that same track. Go ahead. Oh. So this is a list I seen. I guess it was last one, but it's the useless car tech that you could happily live without. Which I even before I even started reading this, I remember thinking like it has to be like manual, window manual locks, that kind of stuff. Because I've never felt
Useless car tech that I could live without. Bluetooth controlled anything.
I kind of feel though for like your music though, it's okay. Like I've seen personally, I don't have mine to auto connect, but like I keep it for my dad for like on his van. It's very useful, especially like for to what do you call it, hands free dialing, calling, stuff like that. So Bluetooth in the right context, but I think overall, just like any tech, in moderation, it's fine. But like for this one, okay, they start and this way it's readers that wrote in like what they think is useless tech, and a lot of them was kind of like, oh, okay, I see that.
Half the technology in most European cars, like all of these electric options.
I feel more than half, because even way back when, heated seats, I've never like driven in the worst condition and thought like, man, if my butt was a little warmer, I would be so much better. I've heard
That's a luxury thing, yeah.
Well, I feel like it's more of a beneficial to people say that you pick up a pizza and you throw it on the seat and then you hit up the heat warmer.
Well,
That's the only...
You got to remember, we live in California. It doesn't get too excessively cold here. It does get cold in Fresno, but not excessively cold. If you live somewhere that snows for months on end, heated seats are going to be nice.
Well, I've been in, when I lived in Oregon, and we got pretty chilly a lot of times,
Oh, that's right on.
Wait, and I had like early morning jobs where I had to get up and, just shivering or whatever.
We're shoveling snow.
I don't know, man. I'm not a sucker. I was over 10 years old, man. If you're over 10s and you're getting... No, I'm just kidding. That sounds bad for... I can see some adult over there shoveling snow like, you piece of damn Californian. By the way, the other day in LA, it got to 99, and I was just... Man, I knew they were going to start crying for something.
That's why you're so loud.
I'm loud.
Can you hear yourself?
Yeah, I can hear myself.
Okay. Yeah, this...
Oh,
The volume on that was like really low.
oh okay. Well, yeah, because we probably weren't recording with that before. So here's some tech. This guy put it out. Air conditioning, electric windows, keyless ignition, heated rear windows, CD player, and auto headlights and wipers are the things I use. Literally anything else is a feature of my car I have never used. So my answer is anything not on that list. Anything that is not one of those is completely superfluous to me.
Okay, go through it again.
Yeah, it threw me off because like, wait, you don't want none of that? But so they're all for air conditioning, electric windows, keyless ignition, heated rear windows, CD player, and auto headlights and wipers.
I'll say the keyless ignition is pointless.
I didn't really ever use it.
It's
Yeah.
actually easier to steal a car
with keyless
entry and ignition.
Oh,
All
yeah.
you need is an RF
interrupter or something.
signal. Yeah, you can just. I mean, that happens,
Yeah,
especially with Hyundais.
we're gonna go.
Dude, it made the
You
news.
bashing on the foreigners again?
You people steal vehicles. You just see some guy with a backpack stop, whip out his laptop,
Beep beep beep.
and you see the vehicles and the lights vehicles turn
Yeah.
comes on. walks up, gets in, drives off.
Drives right off. And those are the ones that, keyless ignition. Like, you don't have to put in the key.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not reported as much because I haven't heard so much about like mass thefts, like where it's
the Hyundais were really easy. There was
I'm sure they suppressed that so much. Like I remember Toyota's
made the news.
Well, but I mean like the company itself. Nobody's watching the news these days. But like the Toyota car mats. Like I remember I was even thinking like, man, Toyota's gonna like go out of business. Like they're fine,
Yeah.
Well, it turned out it was just people, dumb. It was more dumb people than that.
It was mostly user error.
Heated rear windows, though, I think that's sort of unsung hero in many situations. It's helped me a lot of times.
Oh yes.
Even then, I wouldn't say it's like it just saves me from going out and wiping it myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's more like it facilitates the lazy guy in me. So that's why I'm all for it. Air conditioning, honestly, I don't use my air conditioner most of the time. I'm a Windows down.
uses it all the time.
It's people that use it, I'm definitely not against that, but I'm more of I like the natural air out there.
So this is his list of things that are useful.
Yeah.
So anything not on that list he sees as completely pointless.
And I'm more like, I see some of his things that are completely pointless, like auto headlights.
Yeah, pointless.
I've seen enough cars out there when it's pitch black with no headlights on. Is like the auto headlights are what's messing you up. I get in the car and all of a sudden it's like, God damn, it looks dark as shit out here. Like, oh yeah, flick, boom, ready to go.
Yeah.
That's somebody that likes driving and has driven a while. Auto wipers, those are if you're driving,
they don't work.
If you're sitting there going and you're like, oh man, this rain is beating me down. Like, I don't know, man. If you need that much initiation,
okay. Auto wipers, auto headlights, lane departure, and auto braking. These are some of the things I will 100%. This is what's causing shitty driving habits.
They're too dependent on it and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
The auto nanny does it for me, therefore I don't have to think about it. Therefore, they're not in the habit of thinking about controlling the car.
Yeah.
The car is just on autopilot. It just goes on its own.
Well, that's what gets me that we're not even to that point where, as a driver, you're more conscious, not even, of course, universally. Like, you're never going to get 100% of, American drivers on point. But to a point where we're not, isn't child fatality still like one of the top 5 or something like that? Car accidents or some shit like that? Well, either
maybe.
way,
I know annually about 1 million people die in car-related accidents,
which is kind of too high, man, for a society that's
literally more people than COVID.
Damn. Yeah. See, it's
on a yearly basis when it was at its peak in 2020.
Yeah.
COVID like almost tied car accident.
Yeah. Car accidents. We're still number 1, baby.
Yeah. I mean, we shut down the country for that. They still have regulations for that, but for car crashes, we're just like, man, that's part of life.
Well, that's the thing, though. You look up and how much car companies have like lobbied and all that kind of junk. I still kind of can't get over 2008 when Ford was the only company that didn't need to be bailed out. Because I remember that time I was thinking I was thinking at the time, you know what? Let the other companies go out. There's a reason they're doing bad business, so let them. At that time, they had already gotten of Brita Pontiac. They had already gotten of Oldsmobile. Just
That's
like
GM, but yeah.
Maybe get rid of Lincoln. I don't know. You guys are murdering Lincoln for fuck's sake. Like the Lincoln MKT. Oh, what an ugly piece of shit.
Lincoln, I think.
Yeah, I think I confused with Mercury too.
A few years later, Lincoln did go out. Ford stopped making Lincoln, but what Ford did was analyzed its situation, which they did what everybody else that didn't get a government bailout had to do. Analyze their finances, sold some stuff.
Yeah.
Stopped living high on the hog.
Yeah.
Got on a budget and made it do.
It's like financing 101, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But then you had all these other companies like, oh man,
too big to fail.
Yeah.
The banks. The banks are the worst.
We could have gotten rid of Bank of America, Wells Fargo,
Chase.
And that's the thing though, they say like, oh, but we can't do that because then the economy would be in shambles. It's like, why are we dependent on these stupid companies, man? But anyway, before we get too much in that rant, auto headlights.
That's part of the new the triumphant return to my triumphant return. One thing that I felt was kind of holding the show back was we would censor ourselves, and Beth doesn't like getting into political things or anything she deems political that may or may not be political, like banking practices.
Oh man.
Or
the financial institutions could kiss my ass.
She doesn't like getting into things like that because
I don't either. That's why like I'm getting ramped up and like let's go back to cars.
yeah. It's like that's part of my triumphal return is, you know what? Gloves are off because I don't give up.
The banks. We're gonna rob a bank.
What's YouTube gonna do? Not pay me?
Yeah. What, are they gonna fine me? All right. Here's the next one.
Went through the terms and conditions. They're not allowed to do that.
Okay, so here's the second one on the list. Which this one, it's interesting because I honestly want a lot of insight from you because this is something that I've noticed throughout the trends, but I kind of don't know the history of it. But the plastic engine cover. I don't know why they make it look pretty, as I'm guessing that nobody really cares or notices except for mechanics who have to remove the damn thing to work on the car. Are we calling plastic tech, or is this more of an annoying accessory?
I would say annoying accessory, and he's absolutely right. About 80% of people who have their cars never open the hood.
You know what? It's kind of, I don't know what it is, but for the last, I don't know, certain number of years, I'm starting to get that way. Like
like you don't even know where the hood release is,
or I have to look for it. You know, it's not like we're automatic or it used to be. I have to be like, just yesterday I had to go get smog, and the guys, you know, popping the hood. And I'm just kind of like, I'm gonna look like an idiot in my own car. You know, but the thing is about like, maybe it's the give and take of like now we have all these lights that are like, hey, something's going on, that we become too dependent on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of, it's both fault of the tech and of myself. But like, you know, in my Camry where I saw the check engine light and 2 years later everything's fine, so I'm like, it, I don't care, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
I think it was an evap leak or something like that.
Well, it's had that issue where we've changed out the gas cap since for its life like 3 or 4 times, and it just doesn't get corrected. And then
I'm pretty sure it's not the gas cap then.
Well, no, that's the thing. They switched out, and it'll stop for a while, but then it'll come back. Well, the last time I think I went to AutoZone and they checked it, and they told me it was like the what is it? The tube that goes from the gas tank to the where the gas cap is. I forgot what they call that.
Okay, it's either the vent tube or the fill neck.
Yeah, I can't even remember what it was called, but it was one of those.
There's actually 2 tubes that do that. It's like you've got the thick one and then a thin one.
Yeah,
and they kind of just go along the same path there. You've got your fill neck, which is where you fill
the hose in.
Yeah. But then there's right next to it, comes up next to it, is the vent tube.
That little hole, right? That you don't sit there and be like, I got to try to aim at that little guy.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. What that's there for is literally to let out the fumes as you're filling the car up.
But I thought that was the pro fill. You know, that's where the pros fill it.
Yeah.
All right, do not follow this advice.
Jive Ass Alien for more car advice.
I go
how
for
to get kicked out of the gas station, or
just kicked out of life. But yeah, I'm definitely giving you the bad advice. I go for the jokes. I don't go for the what is it like? Look up your own information.
How to win a Darwin Award.
But yeah, that's the thing I've noticed. You know, it's probably been more than 10 years now. But when I start like either on somebody's newer car or whatever, you see it where it's basically covering the whole engine. You know,
oh my God, yes.
I'm the old school's type where you pop up the hood and then you see the cables, you see the big ass air filter, you know, you see the battery.
Yeah.
But nowadays it's almost like maybe you see a battery. And
probably one of the worst ones is like the Lexus ES 350s.
And why is that?
There is a plastic sheet that covers the entire engine bay.
From like,
I mean, it's like
shock to shock or strut to strut.
It's just this jigsaw puzzle of plastic.
So it's more than one piece?
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm done. Yeah.
And it's just like, why? I know there's an engine in here somewhere. Hang on, let me dig this thing out like a freaking archaeologist.
And it takes you, the better part of an hour.
10 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
But for multiple people? Because look at the one they show. That's kind of what I'm used to, like a TDI like that.
Yeah, Volkswagen TDI. That's a big honking cover, yeah.
So that's the thing. I thought it was like covering maybe,
that covers most of the engine, yeah.
See, but the way you're saying it, I'm picturing like it's covering, the windshield wiper fluid.
Okay, you'll have that centerpiece there.
Yeah.
And I'll put a picture up later for...
Yeah, that'll be the thumbnail.
Yeah. But it'll be... okay, so you'll have that, but then you'll have a piece.
Oh, okay.
Big long piece across its front, and then a piece and a piece.
And you have to like remove them in order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they interlock.
Yeah. Oh, man. I thought that's way worse than I thought. I've thought like they were always the one piece, but... Your whole engine cover is awful. Something.
Yeah, and then the engine cover itself is silver, and then all of these other surrounding ones are black, so that makes it pop. They're beauty covers.
So when you open it, it looks like, ooh, look at that little shiny piece in the middle. But it's all like, oh, that's
it's
awful.
just a big honking plastic. Yeah.
Well, see, back in my day, I remember when you go to car shows, like even the newer ones, they're what are they called, JDMs or whatever, where you pop it open and you see all this chrome and all this purple colored tubes or whatever. But it's all there, it's all looking at you. But now
all polished aluminum,
not just a piece of plastic that cost them like $5 to mold, and it's like, look at this, it's fantastic. Every single car looks like this.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's one that's
so your article writer there, he is right about that one. 80% of people they don't even know where the hood latch is. They're not going to see it, and the mechanics are just like, get this thing out of my way.
Get it. It's going to take me long enough to
get this piece of junk out of the way.
And so, okay, if you were to remove all the plastic and just use it like that, would it look like it's missing something? Would it look like, say, the engine's kind of sunken a little bit? Would it kind of throw off the look of it?
In my mind, no.
Okay, I'm just curious, like, especially the Lexus. I picture you're moving, it looks like somebody's halfway through working on an engine, Like when you watch, I like watching those repair shows.
Say, in my mind, no, but that's just because I'm biased on this.
Yeah,
I'm jaded on this.
Yeah, it's your own
honest,
biased opinion.
And so to me, it's like those things are just in the way.
So how about, I don't know if it's even makes sense for the last, I don't know how many decades, but because I remember when I watch those car shows, is there any possibility of anybody working on an engine as they're standing in the engine bay? Because cars are way too small nowadays. I mean, I look at my little RAV.
Cars, no. Trucks, yes.
That's kind of more, I guess, because they're putting smaller engines in trucks.
Not only that, but trucks themselves have just ballooned in size.
Oh, okay.
Thanks to cafe standards. More good intentions and unintended consequences.
That's how you have like the Nissan Titans going to Starbucks, and your
they're just freaking. Oh my God, the Silverados, the F-150s, the Titans. These things are just absolutely enormous for no reason.
And it's, for me, the best part is like you look at the older one, that looks like 3 or 4 years old or something, and look at the bed and look how clean it is. It's like not even a 2x4 has been tossed in there, and it's like, yeah, you don't need that space. You don't need to waste that much on gas, et cetera, et cetera.
Just unintended consequences, and good with the best of intentions. What could possibly go wrong? It's because cafe standards, corporate average fuel economy. You're a manufacturer. You've got a range of cars, and you need to average X number of miles per gallon for this range.
Yeah.
You've got cars and you've got truck SUVs.
Yeah.
Okay. They break them up into those two categories.
But it's an overall thing, like for the company, I guess.
Yeah. So, and that gives you a standard of how much pollution is a vehicle is able to make per weight.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's why I forget they have to sort of abide by the pollution rules. That's kind of the reason. Yeah.
If your vehicle weighs 5,000 pounds and meets these, parameters, it's allowed X number of hydrocarbon emissions, or whatever, CO2 emissions.
Right. Yeah. That's why the smaller cars are allowed less than your bigger cars or whatever.
Yeah. The standards are higher for cars than they are for trucks and SUVs.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, well, which is easier, raising performance or lowering the bar?
Yeah.
Lower that bar every time.
Yeah, every single time, man.
So that's what manufacturers have done.
Yeah.
So they have actually
too big to fail.
They've made, they can all, well, and plus I think we are reaching the limits of how efficient the internal combustion engine can get. Because it is a mechanical device, there is a physical limit of efficiency.
Yeah.
It's never going to be 100%, ever.
I pay a lot more attention in regards to that when it comes to like motorcycles. Because when it comes to CCs, because I mean, 5 horsepower on a bike is a lot more important than on a car. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's power to weight ratio.
Yeah, there you go.
Just measuring the amount of energy produced, a gasoline, a
molecule
has a amount of chemical energy in it.
Yeah.
When you take that, throw it in the engine, it burns, and then that
Explodes.
produces kinetic energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
How much of that chemical potential energy is then transferred into kinetic motion energy?
Damn, man, your mechanics final test must have been hard.
Actually, none of this was.
I know,
there.
yeah.
This is all just me being a geek.
Yeah, just read no, yeah, because that's why, like, I understand a lot of those terms, but I'm like the specifics. Hell no.
Taking a piece of chemical and how much energy is in that chemical, and then turning it into motion kinetic energy.
Yeah,
and that sets a ratio of what it could have been and what it is.
Oh, potential
versus actual versus realized.
I've heard that. Yeah.
That gives you an efficiency percentage.
Right. Yeah.
So I think most internal combustion engines are running at about 25 to 30%, and I think we're kind of reaching the end of what we can reasonably expect out of these things.
Yeah, because you figure, car tech, from 60s, 70s, 70s, 80s, in the last 10 years or so, especially when it comes to the ICE, we haven't made that huge leaps as we did back in the day, back in, previous generations. Nowadays, we're not making, in the 2000s, as far as the car goes, we're not making these huge leaps of like, wow, look how much more efficiency we got. And
actually, they've, in the last 10 years, the whole industry's changed.
But like, it's gotten that much better then? Because I feel like, okay, from the 60s, 70s to the 2000s, we made such huge leaps that, we're getting crazy amount of horsepower out of like the smaller engines or whatever.
Oh, yeah. No, they are. Engine sizes have gotten smaller.
And that's one of the ways to regard it or whatever.
But just looking at, an efficiency standard of how much horsepower can you get out of how small of an engine.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons we're seeing turbos on so many things now.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because I remember growing up, you hear a turbo and it was a very like, once in a while. Well, yeah, not only that, but it was kind of like a huge thing.
Yeah.
And maybe like in the early 2000s, started hearing like twin turbos, and I thought, you're putting 2 turbos in this thing? This thing must be like a rocket, but I mean, it's
that was race car technology, yeah.
Yeah, back then, yeah.
Now it's delivery vans.
That's right, yeah.
I kid you not. Okay.
4 cylinders, they pop little turbos in there.
The Ford 3.2 EcoBoosts.
Oh, I don't know why that name always makes me laugh. The EcoBoost.
It makes me laugh because we call them the Leco Boosts at work because they freaking leak everything.
That's what you get for economizing.
That's right. But it was oh my god, the fittings that the coolant that would take the coolant and connect to the turbos.
Yeah,
those things always leaked.
Well, it was like their first newer tech or whatever.
But I mean, you're talking about these. It's a V6,
right? In
this big old. The 250 and 350 Ford transport vans. Those are your Amazon trucks.
Yeah,
they're just enormous.
Yeah.
So it's got a V6 in there with 2 turbos on it. Those things will book.
But I mean, you're not going to be drag racing, a Mustang probably or nothing.
Not going to be drag racing a Mustang, but on my test drives,
but it would like boom, yeah, it gives you.
It's like the back is empty, and I'm getting this thing on the freeway. Wow!
Watch the little red line. Yeah. That's pretty cool, yeah. 2 turbos, man. It keeps it balanced.
I mean, these things are, back in the day, it used to be really revolutionary to put out like 200 horsepower.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Dude, a Honda Odyssey minivan has 200 horsepower now.
Really?
Yeah.
I kind of thought that's overall, they're kind of like, scaling it up, right? Like, your weakest engine nowadays would vastly outperform, your little speedsters back in the 80s or something.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about, the 80s. God, the 80s was the tail end of what they call the Melees area. It's just a black pit of bad design, bad engineering.
Just trying to figure something out, yeah.
I mean, my wagon, it's got a 302 in it. It's a big old V8 engine in there, 5-liter 302 engine. But, I mean, it's maybe 150 horsepower.
Well, that's kind of, I guess, the other way to look at it, where you look at your average car through the 90s, your average car through the early 2000s, and nowadays, you don't have as many cars running, V8s and V10s. Back then, it's like, popping V12s. Nowadays, you're getting crazy power out of Fords.
Because emission standards. Standards. Smaller engines produce less emissions. Because it's smaller. It's just making less, it's using less gasoline and everything per cycle.
So it makes more sense to kind of like push those harder?
As hard as you possibly can.
Okay.
And that's why they're slapping turbos on them.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, if you look at the Chevy Sonic, it's just a little hatch, little 4-door hatch.
Yeah, nothing.
It's smaller than Best Car.
Yeah.
It's got a 1.4 liter engine.
Damn, that's tiny.
That's smaller than Best Car. Best Car's 1.5.
Oh yeah, beat it by that 0.1. Yeah.
But
the
Sonic, I think it's the LTZ, comes turbo.
Ooh, yeah. See now, yeah, you hear turbo, you think it's gonna be
Most
good.
of your Fiat 500s have a turbo.
Huh. No wonder people like driving those so much.
Especially the Abarth. Yeah, it's got a hopped up turbo.
Oh,
So
yeah.
these Sonics out there, most of those are turbo.
Yeah.
You're seeing just turbos on more vehicles.
Yeah,
Because
see, I
they're
don't know
running
that.
these redonkulously small engines.
Yeah, and then just squeezing as much out of it as possible.
Well, as a side effect of that, when you say better, that's why when you said, if cars haven't gotten better, it's like, we're getting more horsepower to these smaller engines, so that's kind of nice. But as a result, when you squeeze these engines that hard,
Right.
turbo-powered engines tend to not have as long of a lifespan as a
See, that's
conventional engine.
and that's where now I'm getting kind of like, okay, started kind of scrutinizing it a bit, because it's like you would have thought technology where everything scales up, they would have, I don't want to say come up with better, but like use better materials to make better parts nowadays,
If it's a day out of warranty, it's your problem, not theirs.
That's very true. See, that's kind of,
This is where it gets really scummy. The 2.4 liter Ecotech engines.
Yeah.
I give my boy Steve-O to crap on this because he's an Ecotech fanboy. Okay, to be fair, I will acknowledge that the 2 liter and the 2.2 Ecotechs, the earlier ones, were a good engine.
That what bugs me a lot when it's like the first iteration is pretty good and then they tinker with it and it gets worse. I can't stand that. Like,
Yeah,
it bothers me so much.
It's the pantyhose principle.
Yeah. Don't make it worse. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the 2.4 is just an oil-burning pile of garbage. So much so
Put it
that there have
nicely.
been several class action lawsuits against GM by car owners.
Yeah.
Like, you made a lemon, fix it.
Wait, GM or Ford?
GM.
I just said the EcoBoost.
Ford has the EcoBoost, GM has the EcoTech.
Oh, okay. I missed the, okay.
Both have the same problem. They're slapping an Eco label on the engine.
yeah, that's probably the easiest
and
one.
Dodge has the Eco Diesel. Don't get me started.
Oxymoron upon oxymorons, yeah.
Yes, in a
Fluorocarbons, people. Yeah.
a V6 Eco Diesel, and I think they're even turbocharged. Eco Diesel truck.
Give me a healthy deep dish pizza. How dumb are you? And
We're
a
just
Diet Coke,
shoveling in the oxymoron.
God damn, that's just awful. And that's kind of the whole, marketing trend or whatever.
Yeah, and oh god, and it's a French engine, so it's just only getting worse. It's well, okay.
What did they give it a French
Dodge
name?
is a branch of Chrysler.
Yeah.
Has been for ages, right?
Yeah.
Chrysler was bought by Fiat back in 2009 or whatever. Too big to fail.
Yeah.
So
Is that what saved them, or was that after?
Financially, it saved them.
Well, no, but like, did they? Was like when they needed to be saved. Is that when Fiat bought them, or bought them right after? Like when they got paid out or whatever.
I think they got paid out, and then Fiat bought them and I think they paid the government back or something.
Oh, see, that's even scummy, bro. Okay, continue, because we're never gonna finish this talk.
So here's how here is why your Dodge Ram truck has a French engine.
Oh man, that's sad to hear. I like Dodge. I used
Here's
to like
how that
Dodge.
works. Dodge is a division of Chrysler,
Right. Owned by Fiat.
which is now owned by Fiat.
Yeah.
Right. Fiat, Italian company.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah, isn't Fiat Italian? Yeah.
Partners with Peugeot to form Stellantis.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's why.
Europe really only has 2 car companies:
Yeah.
Volkswagen and Stellantis.
That's why I keep seeing like Stellantis is in trouble, and I read about them, but I'm like, well, what do they own? They own like Jeep, right?
They own everything Chrysler used to own.
And basically all the cars that the Jeep is awful. The Jeep's been dying for a while. Other than a Wrangler, I don't even know. I can't even.
Actually, not even the new Wranglers aren't even that good.
See, I was gonna say I haven't followed them in a few years, so maybe I'm trying to speak
but
out of
also
legacy.
the Renegades and the Liberties and the
Wagoneer. I saw a Wagoneer yesterday. It is so ugly, man.
They are ugly. But also, more importantly,
The engine
the
sucks balls.
Renegades and the Liberties, their little small
Yeah.
Jeeps, are not Jeeps. Those are Fiat cars
rebranded, rebadged, or whatever.
rebadged.
Yeah.
They are literally rebadged Fiats.
Were they from day one though?
Yes.
Okay, because I drove like one of the earlier Liberties. I rented one. I think me and my sister, my mom, we drove up to Oregon from here in Fresno, and I remember renting it, and I think it was that time, but I drove it for a good period. And I remember thinking it was okay, but I remember it was. Did it feel like a Jeep? I mean, honestly, I don't have a lot of history with Jeep, but I thought it was okay. But yeah, when I read the reviews, they're not the most, because again, you look at a Jeep through your Jeep eyes. You know what I mean? It's not like
You're expecting to be able to drop this thing in 4 low and go up some trails.
well, not even that much, but you expect it not to, falter when you, go across puddles or something. Where else? What
Can
is
it make
this?
it down a gravel driveway?
Yeah, exactly. Then it's like maybe you shouldn't have Jeep slapped on the label.
Yeah. And they badge the out of them.
Well, that's why the more I looked at them, I was like,
They badge
Jeep?
the daylight out of it to try and make you forget that it's a Fiat.
The Grand, what's it? The Grand Wagon or what? Grand Cherokee?
Grand Cherokee.
That's dead, isn't it?
I think that got replaced with the Wagoneer.
The Wagoneer.
Yeah. Which is just a luxury plaything.
You look at the,
It's too heavy. It's like 8,000 pounds.
That's what the issue is. Yeah,
They're heavy.
It's too big for no reason. What is that a rebadged? I wonder.
That might be a ground up
Original?
build, but it's too heavy
to be useful. Yeah.
It's so heavy. It's a luxury SUV. It's just a tank.
It's where people expect to buy the Jeep name and then sort of get the accolades from it, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so keep going on the list.
So that is why your Ram truck has an eco diesel Peugeot eco diesel engine in it.
What'd you say? Ecotech?
Ecotech is the GM.
Ecotech.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say the earlier Ecotechs, the 2-liter and the 2.2, were good engines. The 2.4 is a flaming pile of crap.
Is that the current one?
That's the current one.
Ah, man, that's worse.
It burns oil, the timing chains go wonky, they just self-destruct. There's been class action lawsuits, and GM has gotten out of several, to which the CEO went out there and said, we're not going to honor these warranties because the warranties only cover faulty manufacturing or faulty installation of parts or faulty manufacturing of parts, not a design.
So it's not a manufacturing fault. It immediately seems
it's not
like
how they built it. It's not the materials used.
Yeah.
It's just a bad design, and therefore they're not going to rebuild your engine for you.
So it's like, okay, so as a consumer, you're like, so you're admitting, you're not going to pay for a bad design. So you either knowingly made a bad design, and now you're just kind of like, fuck it,
Yep. And they don't care because they know people are still going to show up and buy another one.
Buy a Jeep.
And they don't care if you know that it's Korean made.
Yeah, they don't.
The
French made?
Aveo? No, the Spark.
Yeah.
Okay, smaller than the Sonic is the Spark.
Oh, that's smaller. Okay, I thought it was about the same.
Yeah, the Spark replaced the Aveo. The Aveo was literally a rebadged Daewoo. Ooh. GM bought Daewoo, slapped the Chevy badge on it, called it the Aveo.
Yeah.
And there you go. And then they replaced it with the Spark.
I haven't seen a car, either company or model, whatever, that I felt so much like. Definitely don't trust them in the slightest as Daewoo. Like I was one time, I remember I was
very xenophobic of you, Tony.
Well, no, I don't know. I'm glad they're dead, but like I remember being in a Daewoo one time.
What is with you and the Koreans, man? God, he's up.
They did something to me, man. Back in Nam, I don't know.
Gangnam Style was okay, all right? Jeez, he's up, man. Did something to you in Nam? It's a completely different country.
That's what's... Talk about xenophobia,
God.
All right, so here's another car tech we could do without. Auto start stop. In 2.5 years, that $400 feature has saved me 4.5 gallons of gas. At this rate, I'll break even on this feature in the year 2074.
My God. And it just... I hate that. I hate that.
My sister has it on the van we use for my nephew, and I can't get it to work. So my thing is, I feel like it would be useful. Like in cold weather, in warm weather, you could fire it up and have the AC going before you get into it. I don't think this is such a like...
No, that's the remote start. What they're talking about is when you're driving your car, you come up to a red light, and the engine shuts off.
Oh, my bad. Oh, yeah, that's awful. I've had that in every... My dad's van has it. The work truck has, I've been there 8 years. They've had it for 9-10 years. And as soon as I jump in it, I turn it off. Yeah, it's completely useless. It should be, if you need that for some reason, that feature should be like where you turn it on,
That exists because cafe standards.
Damn, man. And so is that every car now that has auto start stop?
Not every car, but a lot of them do.
Yeah.
And it's there to increase the projected, the EPA estimate miles per gallon and bring down their emissions projected emissions
as
creation,
minute as they are,
to bring it down even further to make the EPA happy.
Because, like, from what I understand, basic, chemistry or whatever, but you're burning more gas from the starting up, sparking it, right, to get it moving. Then, because when the car is in motion,
yes and no.
Because if you're starting and stopping, say in your stop and go traffic, you're doing it. Say you're out to go to the store and back, you're doing it like what 10, 12 times. So that's 10, 12 times of it starting. It seems like more wasteful for me when I'm sitting there and the car's completely shut down, and then once I start moving it, and then it's like boom, now it's gonna kick on again. It's more useless that way, I think.
Yeah.
Could be wrong.
The idea of you're using more gas starting your car up,
it's very like
used to be
negligible.
true back in the days. Back in my dad always said that.
Yeah.
That used to be true, but the efficiency of engines has progressed to where it's now actually like Toyota ran this test.
Yeah.
Like this is probably one of the most boring science tests I could think of doing. It's like, how long did this take them? Sitting there, turning a car on, starting it up, start it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on.
Full tank of gas?
Not a full tank,
Okay,
but like how long does it take to go through a liter of gas?
Oh yeah. By just turning it on
versus letting it idle.
Yeah.
And so just doing that, because like it turns off when you're at red lights or when you're in your drive-through and things like that.
Anytime you hold the brake, pretty much.
For more than a few seconds.
Yeah.
It will sit there and idle for a few seconds.
Yeah.
So there is that delay. It doesn't just automatically turn off. There's a little bit of delay to see,
idles.
Are we going to be stationary for a few seconds? Okay, turn off.
See, all those like little, changes they're trying to like control. Yeah, it seems kind of dumb,
It is kind of dumb, and it's just there to make the EPA happy.
And that's kind of, I guess, that as a driver, you think, where would this help me? Because, okay, if it cuts off, it would be helpful if you could like take your foot off the brake or something, But either way, you have your foot on the brake, so it's like it doesn't knock it into neutral, nothing like that. So it's almost, what's the point of it?
Yeah,
just because so it doesn't burn, 0.000 something percent of gas. I guess. Yeah.
And actually, let's bringing in one of those little mythos of I used to do this when I first got my first car, my Dodge Shadow. I used to knock it in neutral.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was an automatic, and I used to kick it in neutral.
Yeah.
Don't do that. It's a waste.
Well, see, in your manual car, you do that more to give your leg a break, So
well, not only that, but so you're not riding the clutch.
Yeah, true, yeah.
If you're sitting there at a stoplight, take your damn foot off the clutch, put it in neutral.
Yeah, because that's me. You're sitting there, especially in your manual car, and you're kind of foot there, and you're like, I'm gonna take a. I see the light's not gonna move for a while.
What's that smell?
Yeah. Rubber. Somebody's burning rubber out here.
It's got a burnt but slightly sweet smell. Seems smell. Is that coming from my car? Yeah, that's your clutch screaming in pain.
Yeah, if you start hearing the whining, maybe pull over at that point.
So yeah, I do that a lot with my car. My car's a manual, so I coast a lot.
Yeah.
I could see the light is red. I'm within
nobody else.
I'm within an eighth of a mile.
Yeah.
From like so. My street
cruising
to that light.
Yeah.
If I could see that light's red out here on Cedar.
Yeah.
If I could see that light's red, neutral.
Pop it.
I pop it in neutral and I coast.
Just let it cruise.
Yeah, I will because I can.
Well, see, that's kind of.
I don't downshift to a stop because so many people do this. Well, that saves your brakes. Shut up. A clutch kit's $100-something. Brake pads for my car are $20.
Yeah, you start weighing the like. Do you know how hard or how much more expensive a clutch would be compared to your brakes? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, okay. What I got to do? I take the tire off, 2 bolts to take the caliper off, put some pads on there, boom.
Slap it back on. Yeah.
Cheapest brake. That's cheap. Doing it the cheapest. Even if I wanted to pull the rotor off and have it resurfaced and put that on, or put a new rotor.
Yeah.
That's still going to be a lot easier than taking the car up, pulling all the drivetrain out, pulling the transmission off, pulling the clutch off, pull the flywheel, have that resurfaced, put all that back together.
Yeah, that's your whole afternoon there.
That's a couple days.
Damn.
Brake job is done in an afternoon. Even if you're having the rotors resurfaced, you can have that done in an afternoon.
Yeah.
Or if you're just buying new ones and slap those on, you're done in like 2 hours.
Couple hours, especially if you've done it before.
You can't even. You're not even through your first 6-pack.
Yeah.
But if you've got to take the transmission out of a car, forget it.
And you know what? I'd rather have somebody a little tipsy off a six-pack, changing brakes than changing my clutch. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, considering most cars are front-wheel drive,
right?
And if you're changing the clutch, they've already taken the brakes and the suspension, the CV axles, all that's got to come out.
Anyway.
Yeah. Because you got to take the transmission, and all that's in the way.
All right, the next useless tech, according to this dude.
Keep it rolling. I could do this all day.
My last 3 cars have all had voice control, and I never used any of them except once or twice to try them. And each of these attempts ended with a quick cancel. Cancel.
Voice controls.
I've probably never, maybe used one time to like call somebody, but even then, it's hit and miss. Just because like they didn't specify here, but I read somewhere where people were commenting how that voice control has a lot of difficulty with accents, which is kind of
oof. Yeah, I can see that.
Well, already if that's an issue, then don't try to implement it. Like if it can't even figure out an accent, like it's kind of stupid. Stoop, right into the ravine or something.
Well, I imagine they're talking about navigation. Find Best Buy.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the address for Target. No, Best Buy. Here's Bath.
I want to go to Barnes and Noble.
Okay, Buns and Noble, the strip club, is coming up. Like, no, man. What?
I could not picture my boy Levon.
Scott, yeah.
My man Levon. Great guy. But he is straight out of old country.
Ooh.
He's pure blood Armenian.
Thicker than bacon fat. He's just straight up.
Yeah. And so much so that I kind of catch myself picking up his accent a little bit when I'm talking to him.
Well, next time you get a car with voice activation, have them test it out. Give a little real life situation.
It's like, okay, Levon, come here. Yeah,
I need your help. Yeah,
I'm gonna open the sat nav. Like, see if I can get it. Okay, go from here to in and out.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. What could you give them that has a lot of accents or something? But yeah, voice control. It's one of those that it definitely should have been like an absolutely included feature, but one of those, if you want leather interior or something, additional ones or something.
Okay, leather interior, I can see that. That's nice. But voice control, it's not. I don't like it. Plus, and it's just too creepy to me because that's more of
listening.
It's listening all the time.
Well, that's I remember years ago when people say like, well, Alexa only listens to you. Like, how do you think it knows when you're talking? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes. All these smart home devices, they listen to you 24/7.
Yeah. Just because you don't,
as evidenced by a murder case.
Oh, they caught them because they were talking or something.
Yeah.
Save that for a murder podcast, but
it really did. It came to court that an Alexa activated and recorded an entire conversation leading up to the "oh my god!" or it's like stabbing or shooting, whatever it was. I forget what it was.
And the guy's like, "Thank God Dedrick Thompson V will never be caught because nobody."
Johnny, what are you doing? Put down the gun.
Yeah,
that
don't
whole
go to your home on 1505 Thrift Street.
It's like, excuse me, how did the smart device have this recording?
Jeff Bezos was like, ooh.
That answer wasn't in the video.
Yeah.
So these devices listen to you 24/7. Your phones are definitely listening to you 24/7.
Phone, don't listen to me. Okay.
Do you work for the CIA?
No, I do not work for the ABC. That's not what I asked.
And the choppers are on their way.
All right, let's get down to the list because we might not get to the second list, so we say that for next episode. This one, you know what? This one's very confusing to me, so this one I'm going to need probably all of your expertise, Mark. I like the title, though. A poor workman blames his tools. This person, accelerator pedal cut off when you touch the brake pedal. Designed for the layperson who only knows how to drive with one foot. Incredibly annoying for the advanced driver who uses left foot braking. I'm totally fine with most of the other modern amenities. Don't confuse one automaker's terrible, blah, blah.
I could think of 2 instances where that would be a real pain in the neck.
Well, first off, tell me, honestly, I don't know about this. What is the accelerator cutoff technology, I guess?
I don't know. It's kind of new to me, but I imagine that's some sort of nanny state safety thing that, old people running down.
So you never heard of this in a
No,
car?
that's new to me.
So all right, see, that's kind of now. I should have maybe done more research.
Well, my shop doesn't do what they call ADAS, automatic. What is it? Advanced driver assistance systems.
Oh, okay.
We don't delve into those because they're very labor intensive and they're a pain in the ass.
Oh, that's kind of interesting that there's like certain. So the way it describes it, accelerate, it's designed for the layperson who only knows how to drive with 1 foot. It's designed, first off, driving with 1 foot. I mean, that's how you drive. That's the default.
That's the default for anybody.
So,
yeah.
So I think like this person is kind of getting upset because like, all right, if you drive an automatic with 1 foot on the gas, 1 foot on the brake, that's lazy, man. Like, that shouldn't be sort of how you're conditioned.
That's not how I'm conditioned.
Well, no, that shouldn't be like. If you go to take the DMV test, you should fail if you're driving that way because it's like that's not how cars are designed. That's not how 99% of drivers drive. That's I don't know.
I mean, that's the norm. Is just everyone uses just their right foot for it. But okay, if you're on a steep hill,
yeah,
and you don't know how to use your handbrake, or you have one of those stupid push button handbrakes.
Oh man, those do suck.
If you're in a
I don't know if I'm doing it right or not. Yeah,
I hate those things.
Yeah.
And you're trying to do a hill start, your left foot's on the brake and your right foot's on the gas because you're trying to ease.
Yeah.
So if it's killing your throttle because your foot's on the brake still, it defeats your efforts of doing a hill start so you don't roll into the guy behind you.
I've never had an issue. I mean, it must have to be a steep hill because I've never really had an issue going from like brake to gas like quick enough to roll up out of like say when I had to back down a little steep incline or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's doing a hill start's is mostly like a workout for a person with a manual, but
yeah, that's exactly what I think. But okay, so it
or
cuts off
if you're a yabo and you're trying to do a burnout.
Well, so it says it's an accelerator cutoff. So okay, normally you're driving, you got your foot on the gas, it's churning. So if you go okay, so when you brake, you're not braking, emergency braking. You're not like stomping. You're like easing into it.
Yeah, you're pulling up to a stoplight.
Yeah. So you're sort of relaxed. So if you take your foot off the gas and you ease into the brake, but it's cutting your acceleration, so it's making it slower. I don't know. It seems I got to look into it because I'm confused of what exactly it is. But this person is complaining about it because they like to drive with their foot on the brake, foot on the gas, and maybe because that's so faster when they push on the gas, it's cutting off the acceleration too fast. I don't get it. I don't know. This seems like this person.
That sounds very niche.
Yeah. It seems like they put their crank.
Plus, also the way you worded it is like for the simpleton that only drives with 1 foot, or the advanced driver who uses 2 feet. It's like I don't know if that
incredibly annoying for the advanced driver who uses left foot braking. That doesn't sound like an advanced driver. Probably in rally or some kind of racing, that's how they do. But that's a niche. That's something where you train and you're trying to, improve.
It's like, unless you're like whipping around a racetrack, so you're trying to not lock your brakes up, so you're still on the throttle a little bit. I don't know. Yeah, that sounds very niche. Very niche.
See, somebody, the person that wrote the article said, a lot of you were keen to point out that it might not be the tech's fault. It could be down to the implementation.
Yeah.
Which that sounds more appropriate to me. Yeah. Okay, let's go with. See, this kind of seems weird. This person's like anything that requires creating an account, and it seems like they.
Oh my god.
Well, they make it seem like it's for the website, but
no, it's for the car.
Well, explain to me because I haven't been. The only one I could kind of think of is OnStar. Like I remember.
Oh, that's 20 years ago,
yeah,
man. Where have you been?
I've been in a car that I think the car at work has like OnStar on there, and
there are cars now that if you don't have a subscription, you go in, you create an account, and I think you pay a subscription.
Yeah.
Your heated seats don't work.
I heard that for like BMWs or something.
Yeah.
Well, you're paying so much
for the car. Yeah, I already bought the car. How much more money you want out of me?
To buy a BMW, Mercedes, fresh off the lot, you need to have a good chunk of change.
Yeah.
So if that's not enough for them, like if those companies are going, well, since you have good enough chunk of change, then you could give us more. Obviously, it's like, oh man, greed upon greed, dude.
Oh yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah.
And so your CD player stops working, your heated seats stop working, whatever, some luxury item on your car stops working.
And that's kind of it. Where like now a lot of it can be. It's so easy to implement software based. Some corporation out there could just be like, boop, we're disabling auto start on whatever
Sorry,
like
card payment denied. Yeah.
Yeah, or like, oh, were you late on your payment? So like, boop, which it seems like, well, you gotta pay your shit. Like, well, your car company should not dictate your finance. You know what I mean? Like the finance gets in the way. We'll let them deal with you. I guess I don't know. But yeah, subscription base is pretty good.
Want a bottle of water?
Nah, I'm okay. You gonna take a break?
Um.
Or do you want to go get something?
No, I was just thinking it's getting warm. I was thinking about so we take a quick break. Turn the AC on.
Well, we can wrap this up. I think we'll kind of like rush through these last 8.
Okay.
Or something.
8.
Yeah.
Whew.
Well, so like this one, it's automatic headlights again.
Anything automatic? I'm just nope.
Well, see, it's okay for me if it's like, okay, I think on my RAV I have that where you have the switch where you could turn it to automatic or just leave it on. That's okay to me. The option is fine because it's not that much of a. But if it's sort of a feature, which this is, it comes down to, I guess mechanics have more know-how. But if it's a feature where it has a potential to like mess up the rest of the vehicle, or if the auto headlights, the whatever setup, the way they set up has an option, or because it's not well made or whatever, could disrupt the rest of your headlights. Like say if the auto headlights failed, then your headlights don't work at all. That's kind of like, okay, that's shitty implementation. You know what I mean? Having the options is okay, but like
I don't think I've ever actually seen that.
Where what?
Where the auto feature has disabled the headlights? Nah.
Then hopefully it's not there, but like
because the default is that it just turns them on.
Well, like say if you're trusting like a European car because of all their electrical problems, you know what I mean? That's what like the less electrical issues they have, the better. But so this person's auto headlights. My problem with them is people keep forgetting whether they are on or off. So people are driving around after dark thinking their headlights are on, but really they aren't. Or the rain. This is I guess because we kind of already covered that. But or the rain or fog is bad enough that you need headlights, but the light level is just high enough not to trigger them, so people don't switch them on. It isn't that they are not handy, but that idiots on the road switch their brains off and assume the headlights are brighter than they are.
There you go. There's the rub. There it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
That should have been the other argument.
Idiots switching their brain, what small brains they have are switched off, and they're just letting the car think for them.
I have auto headlights on, but they're not coming on. Therefore, I'm fine. Driving in this dusk weather.
It's fine, yeah.
Everybody else honking at me. They're the idiots,
Yeah, especially here, we get that Thule fog here in the valley.
Yeah. Turn
your goddamn headlights on.
Yeah. If you're sitting there wondering like, should I turn my headlights on? Turn your headlights on. That's it's I've had a motorcycle before where my the normal headlight wouldn't work, only the high beams on. Didn't even think about it. High beams aren't going to be on. That car is going to be upset. Oh well, my high beam on my motorcycle, it's not going to be as damaging.
It achieved the goal though.
Yeah.
I mean, if they honked and flipped you off because you had your high beams on, you saw me.
Yeah. You can't say you didn't see me. Yeah,
that's right.
You saw more than you wanted to, but you saw me.
Saw this chest hair.
It's kind of the same thing, but this person less tech. There are 3 things I want in my car that exists in my modern cars. There are 3 things I want in my car that exist in modern cars: adaptive cruise control, cooled vented seats, and a backup camera. So they're saying adaptive cruise control. That's more like
I think that's where you could set the distance, the following distance.
Oh, okay. It's okay because if you're using it sort of, it would make people use cruise control more. I think. Yeah. But for me, if you're sitting there cruise and you're just watching that semi like coming at you way too fast, and you're just kind of like, oh, it'll hold. That's your own fault, man.
Yeah. That's just idiots turning their brains off.
Yeah, just because it's a joke, but it's less of a joke, from what I've seen in history. But The Simpsons, when they did and Bart's like in the back seat, he's like, oh, it's on cruise control, and it's like
it just goes straight into the cornfield.
Yeah. You just see the corn coming, but it's like people don't. Okay, it's controlling the speed of your cruise. It's by no means controlling your lane, and that's why now with lane departure, people get more like, oh, okay, it's not, dude. Do not let your car drive for you, man.
No, you switch on the adaptive cruise control, and you've got the lane departure and the automatic braking. You're just like not even there. You're just
Oh, dude,
TikTok.
I have my
TikTok.
little what do they call that? The night things, you know,
The face mask.
Yeah, the face mask. I pop one of those on, and like in 2 hours I'll be in Detroit. I just cruise
In
on.
2 hours, you're gonna be dead.
In 10 minutes you'll probably be dead, depending where you are. But that's kind of it. Where
Especially here in California, it's like.
and that's kind of the, you know, the more tech we've done hasn't made the drivers better. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
If anything, it's done the opposite because it's made them more. And when I hear about people slapping on, you know, smart driving and then jumping in their backseat, is like, man, that needs a feature where when you sense, you know, that needs a feature. This is where I'm going to give Tony's suggestion for new tech that we need. When you have the I don't know if every car has it, but where it always annoys me when I'm driving by myself, but I put something heavy in my passenger seat and it's like, hey, you better buckle this fat boy up.
Oh my God, I hate that.
And I think some you could turn them off.
Your seatbelt off.
Yeah. Okay, your driver not having a seatbelt and the alarm not, you know, coming on, that's fine. But when the passenger's on, like, let him fly through the window. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But so, like, yeah, when we don't have the feature where it senses no weight on the front seats, but it senses weight in your back seat, and it doesn't cut off or call to your local police department. That's the kind of feature we need. You know what I mean? Not the cruise control or lane departure feature.
Yeah.
So we need the one. You know what? Better yet, we need the one that has the ejector seat in the back seat, and then it pulls the car to the shoulder and turns off. That's what we need. Okay. No phones. Any smartphone app to control your car. Do you need the hassle? Do not need the hassle and the expense. It's a feature that's becoming
more and more common. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the only one I know from, because my sister and her boyfriend, but like their cyber car, where it's like the oh, it's so cool because you always have your phone on you, so it's okay to have, you know, unlock your phone and auto phone. If that's an option, okay, but your default should be your fob or your whatever, your key. You know?
Keys. Go back to keys.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, Mark, you're like keyless entry. We should not. It should be an option,
dude. I just recently, a few years ago. Okay, yeah. Key fobs, batteries die all the goddamn time.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And you drop them, and then they break.
Well, we had your fantastic scenario about your Prius where, you know, you drop it and you were still able to work your shift, but
that's nice. But like key fobs with batteries, they die all the goddamn time.
But see, replaceable is fine though. You know, your cell battery.
You know what? I still have the original ignition key to my car. It's 30 years old. I still have the original door key. It says GM on it.
Oh yeah, because it.
And I had to retire it and get a copy made and retire that key because it finally wore down enough to where I couldn't really open the door.
Well, like the little key bumps were almost smooth.
Yeah. It's 30 years old.
Yeah.
That key lasted 30 years of daily years.
Yeah, 29 years. Yeah.
29 years of daily
sustainability
use.
How long you think your fob is going to survive? You know, that battery.
5-10 years,
if that.
If you don't drop it and smash it into a million pieces, how many batteries are you going to go through in that time?
See, that would be a good topic for a car talk, because that's my big thing. Where, you know, back in my day, when you bought a car, your mindset was, I want this car as long as humanly possible. You know, I want it to survive. It's not like I don't want it. It's not necessarily I want this to be the only car I ever own, but I don't want to have to think about replacement in 5 years. 10 years.
Actually, the national average, last I heard, was 5 years.
Oh man, that hurts my heart, man.
Wait a minute, think that's the average,
right?
So that's people that can't afford to replace their car every couple of years actually doing it.
Right.
That number is skewed longer because of broke mofos like me that buy a car and hang on to it forever.
Yeah. Keep it going. Yeah. Keep it going.
So that number is stretched higher by broke mofos hanging on to the same old crap they've had forever.
Because there's no other use, yeah.
So the actual interval, a lot of people are probably hanging on to their cars for a much shorter period of time, probably closer to 3 years.
Well, and that's not even taking into account, like, you know, I remember when I did prescription delivery years ago. Legal prescription delivery, not, you know. Illegal prescription, I'm awful because I just like to take them.
Throw in legal prescription.
Legal, yeah, I can't. That's why I need a blur on my face. Legal, but the thing is that I remember talking to the drivers there, and they talk about, you know, going through and these were not, you know, well-made people, but they're talking about going through like 3 cars or so a year because of how heavy they wear the used cars. So I can't imagine, that type of people, that
some people are just animals.
yeah, that's true. You hear so many more stories nowadays. People are like, I don't know you had to put oil in it, and they haven't touched it, and that goes, and that kind of, it's funny because this sort of summarizes this list, because you have people that see this big old plastic cap and think, okay, I don't need to do it. My car runs itself. It's great. You know? Yeah.
Just get in, push the button, and it goes.
Because like this, this list kind of seems repeating, because this one again goes to focus. Anything that takes the driver's attention away, and they mention the lane
departure.
Yeah, lane departure. So that's kind of that tracks anyway.
No. That's what the cat's eyes are for. When you start driving by a braille, like, oh, let me move over, get back in the lane.
Yeah, get back in, wake up. That's when I used to drive tired. That's when you're like, brrr, and you're like, you need to wake the hell up, man.
You pull over and get off the road.
Yeah, that's
sleepy bastard.
When I got the rest of my family in the back sleeping. And again, this is the next one. Technology that the issue they have is not about the useless tech, but that people don't use it.
It allows people to just turn what's left of their mushy little brains, turn that mush pile off, and just car go by itself.
And that's kind of where, to me, I still get sort of not nervous, but I get kind of cautious about like when I'm, trying to find music or something, like, okay, I gotta, but then people are still eating on driving. They're still putting on their makeup. They're still talking on their phone, so it's like none of this tech or whatever is making us better. You know what I mean?
It's making it worse.
Yeah. They're letting our laziness like even expand. You know what I mean?
Because back in the day, but when you didn't have lane departure and automatic braking and all that, you used what was called crash avoidance technology. Defensive driving skills. Yeah, you paid attention to what you were doing and did everything you could to not crash the car.
I mean, it's
because car crashes would probably kill you.
We need to ask, people, just your average adult nowadays, like, do you realize you're piloting like a 3,000 pound death machine with explosive liquid in it?
Oh my God. Okay. Here is peering into the future.
Yeah.
Electric vehicles. And I'm surprised this hasn't been a bigger problem already. Okay. Gasoline burns.
Right.
It doesn't explode the way Hollywood shows when you crash a car. It doesn't just erupt into a giant fireball.
See, we're talking about like action movies, how you can't stand them. Have you ever seen The Last Action Hero?
Yes.
It was on TV the other day, and I was watching it, and I like how they skew about action movies, which is Arnold's bread and butter, which is hilarious. But there's a scene where the kid first shows up in the car, and he's driving, like he's being chased, but he drives like next to these cars, and they all explode. Like he goes down his lane, and he's like by one car, and he doesn't even touch it. It just boom, and then he goes to another car. Yeah, and it was like 5 or 6 cars in a row, and it was hilarious because it's like cars explode. That's just what happens.
This is what happens. Yeah, you shoot the trunk lid, and it explodes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no, that doesn't work.
What about if you shoot through at the grill? You can seize the engine, right?
No.
Even with the 50 cal?
Maybe with a 50 BMG.
and if the car's not moving, and if you hit it like very square, and
it's like to quote the great Archer, it's like, are you kidding? I've got a Barrett 50 cal. I could kill a building.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But yes, explosives.
Okay, so cars exploding or catching fire.
Right.
Because sometimes things go wrong, cars catch fire.
Yeah.
You see it on the side of the road sometimes. It's really horrible. So fire.
Try to fix your vacuum leak with your T-shirt. It's probably not a smart idea. Yeah.
Well, it's usually a leaky fuel line.
Ooh.
And because fuel O-rings wear out, seals wear out, things like that. A little bit of gasoline gets on there, or oil seals. Yeah. Gaskets, those give up.
They wear out.
Oil starts leaking, gets on the exhaust, gets hot, that starts to burn, catches the
hose
insulation.
Clamp is loose, something.
Yeah. So it does happen.
Yeah.
Not just in crashes, but sometimes just due to lack of maintenance or repair, it does happen.
Negligence, yeah.
Yeah. And so fire crew shows up. They've got the fire extinguishers. They've got the the powder, whatever it is,
foam, I think.
The foam and the powder and whatnot, and that goes on there and puts it out because it's a chemical fire.
Yeah,
gasoline and oil. That's a chemical fire. It suffocates it. Yeah. Those fire extinguishers, you look at your normal household, is say ABC on it.
Right.
That's a type rating. Type A is like paper and wood.
Yeah.
Type B is chemical oil, like oil spills.
Right.
And C is electrical.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you wouldn't put like water on an electrical fire,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just going to make it worse.
Same with
So
grease.
That's why
fire,
it's got that yellow powder or it's a foam or whatever. It suffocates it.
Yeah.
So, but there's a fourth kind. It's type D. Burning metal.
Oh, I know that.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're expensive and they're not common. Most people don't have them
Yeah.
because for most people it's not a problem.
Yeah. Your car's not catching on fire every 2-3 years or something.
Unless you've got lumps of cesium or francium or magnesium
Yeah.
or I don't know, lithium. Anybody got a couple lumps of lithium laying around?
Yeah, just in your phone, just in your...
Every hybrid and electric car has a big lump of lithium in it.
I wish we had nuclear cars, man.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's what I want. I want a nuclear car.
Okay, Homer. But anyways, and backup batteries in houses, those things are all lithium ion.
Yeah.
And so that is a flammable metal. If that shows up, if that catches fire for any reason, that's like, exploding phones for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, every phone is a lithium ion battery.
Yeah. Every phone has the potential to explode. Yeah. Have you seen people where they haven't seen their phone in a while, whatever, and the battery expands or something? Like, yeah.
I did that once.
Oh, on purpose?
No,
Oh, okay.
I was like barely out of bed, just like scrabbling around the kitchen, just bleary-eyed. Thought I grabbed my coffee cup, put it in the microwave, beep, beep, beep.
Oh,
No!
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And so
You didn't have the extinguisher ready.
I didn't have, the crackling of electricity was what got my attention. And I opened the microwave and just this acrid
Smoldering?
smell of smoke. It's like,
Yeah.
I just nuked my phone. Another time I accidentally washed my phone. I left it in my pants and started laundry.
Yeah.
And my phone went for a ride through the wash cycle.
Put it on rice.
It did not survive.
You put it in rice?
That battery was like,
Oh, I just...
it just ballooned out, dude. It was done. So I've ruined 2 phones through that. But if you crash a hybrid
Yeah.
and something happens to that battery, and this was a big concern back in the 90s when they first came out with
Hybrids.
what they called commercially available, out for publicly available electric cars were actually test piloted back in the 90s.
Yeah. Yeah.
For those of us that nerd out on this kinds of history. And that was one of the big concerns was the batteries were enormous.
Yeah.
They were the size of that couch.
Because I feel like before, say, then and now, the weights are like drastically different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The batteries were way less efficient and the materials were different. They
So with
made
that weight,
huge-
you're not going to get as much range as now. and
No.
stuff like that, yeah.
The first Nissan Leafs had like a range of like 200 miles. It was garbage.
Yeah.
It was a glorified golf cart.
Well, it's Nissan already. I'm like, you.
But also, if you crashed that, it
Yeah.
leaks. Now it's leaking battery acid all over the road. And if it catches fire for any reason, your average fire truck does not have the ability of putting that fire out.
Damn.
They're only rated for A, B, and C. They're not rated for D.
That's
You
like
got
a
to have a
specialty.
special truck come out to put that shit out before it catches anything else on fire.
So they have like a special unit just for that. Probably.
Not like a special unit, but like a truck, the bigger truck.
Oh, that
probably
has
has it.
the. Yeah, okay.
But most of your fire trucks aren't going to have
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, they're not built for that. It's
And
water and foam.
Practically nobody has a Type D or Type 4 fire extinguisher in their house.
Yeah, yeah. So all those people, you have a hybrid, you have an electric vehicle.
Might want to have one of those on hand.
Don't park it. Don't park it in your house. I guess.
I mean, just try not to do
Buy.
anything stupid with it. I mean, it's probably perfectly fine as long as you don't do anything stupid with it. But there have been cases of electric vehicles catching fire. The batteries get hot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those batteries are huge. They get hot, and when that happens, it can catch fire.
Well, not only like say your little phone with the little battery, if you have it in your pocket sometimes, and it's too hot and it starts heating up.
Yeah.
So imagine that in a how uncomfortable it would be for a car.
Oh my God, yeah. With a battery the size of your, a Samsonite
couch.
suitcase, yeah. Or that box, the second gen Prius,
Yeah.
the EV battery in those, it's about the size of that box.
Really?
Yeah. They're enormous. It's under the back seat.
Oh, wow. That's where you let the back seat people. You might not make it through this ride. Disclaimer, put the little
And
warning label.
well, there was actually a big to-do over those because the vent for those, it actually had a little fan that would just suck air in through the compartment from the cabin.
Yeah.
So it should be fairly clean air. Well, a few times it had like people with pets. That fan would get clogged up with all the pet fur.
Hair? Yeah.
Yeah. And the vent, if you look on these second and third gen Priuses,
Yeah.
the back passenger seat, if you're sitting here and it's right here,
Yeah.
there's a little vent.
Between the driver or the people, or
Like,
that's the
no, in the back seat. I'm in the back seat.
Well, yeah, okay, but I thought like between the two seats, isn't it two seats or?
Back passenger.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so back passenger. So this is the door.
Yeah.
There's the door right here.
Yeah.
And so right here on the seat, you see this little rectangular vent.
Yeah.
Keep that clean. If you have a second or third gen Prius, keep that vent clean.
It's not extra speaker.
That is not an extra speaker space. That is how the hybrid battery breathes. You need only clean air and cool air to go in that vent.
That's all you want in there.
Because if that clogs up with pet hair or lint or whatever, your battery's going to get hot.
So you recommend hot boxing in a Prius?
Don't be shoving your candy wrappers down that vent.
Hey, he's got a sweet, like a little trash can right here.
They actually had to do I don't think it was a full recall. It was like a TSB about upgrading the grid for that, the grill for that.
It was too open?
It was too open. And stuff was just getting in there.
Well, I'm sure kids, popping pennies in there. That's
popping
for sure.
pennies in there, and all it is, it's exactly the same as your dash fan. Just this little like hamster cage.
Yeah,
fan.
no cheap. Yeah, one speed. No liquid cooling, none of that junk.
No, just it's just an electric fan, a little hamster wheel spinning around.
Yeah,
and they do a great job. It does a great job. But you launch a couple pennies in that thing. Those plastic fins.
Oh yeah.
So if you launch a couple pennies in there,
you break them. Yeah, and you're not gonna hear nothing, or I'm sure there's no error light for that.
Oh, there is.
Oh, there is.
Warning. All kinds of things are going to happen on the dash. If that fan breaks and the battery starts getting hot,
up,
it's like reduce power mode, EV failure, blah blah blah. When the battery gets hot,
chucking thing.
Yeah, because Toyota doesn't want to be responsible for these things just exploding.
Yeah. I don't think nobody does.
No, there's especially Toyota. They do a lot of good things with safety of. Your car is in danger. Don't do that.
Just stop moving.
Yeah.
Even though you're out of, you left their lot, they still don't want you to die. The last two are kind of this is like a repeat, but the autopilot deal, robo taxis, level 2 or 3. But yeah, none of that stuff should be even on the road. But what is the Waymo? There's like because you have your Lyft and I forgot the other one, Uber. But isn't there one like called Waymo or something where it's like
Waze or something like that, or
something weird, but it's like a robo taxi. And I feel like they use them in San Francisco. Maybe I'll look it up because maybe I feel like they are on the road and they are like driverless vehicles. So they're kind of pushing the autopilot deal, but it's like that isn't ready on the road, man. Like autopilot's not ready on the road.
It's gonna happen eventually. I know. I'm with you. It's like we've got that old man sensibility, get off my lawn kind of stuff.
See, I guess maybe the argument could be drivers are so bad that maybe the car driving for them would be better, but like we're not there yet. Not only we have, if you've ever driven out Route 66 or some back road somewhere, like I can't imagine a car by itself. Hey, there's this branch that's landing there. I better do something about it, either just drive around. I just don't see that happening,
Yeah. Well,
for those one-offs, I mean, we get those scenarios where we never know it's going to happen, I'm not talking about a deer on the road, but it's, I don't know, something.
Well, peering into the future, and we've talked about this before times on Jive Alien there, I would say like 98% of roadway accidents happen because of me first. I turn now. Good luck, everyone else.
Yeah, don't even focus on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Turn signals are for suckers, whatever, Or I just got to get there first. I got to get there. Like, I need to be there yesterday.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to be like,
I got to hurry up and get home, like, to watch something or because I want to, eat something. Something like that's not an emergency.
Or it might rain. I got to hurry and get home before it starts to rain. Whatever it is.
And, no, I got caught in the rain. I better keep hurrying up to get, that kind of thinking. Yeah.
I better drive faster before some idiot crashes into me.
Yeah, then you're the idiot. Whoa, how'd that happen? Just yesterday, I heard on the radio here in Fresno where, I think it was yesterday, where they said there was a motorcycle and a semi-truck accident, and I just thought, I didn't hear the rest, but I thought, that motorcycle is not alive.
Nope.
Yeah, it's very unlikely.
Picking you up with a spatula.
Yeah, just shoop. Oh, man.
A shovel and a bucket. But, okay, so 98% of, you would easily agree that 98% of roadway accidents happen because of me first. That other 2% is sometimes it happens.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
A meteor just enters your life sometimes.
And, you could even sort of, not disregard, but sort of excuse, say, somebody that hits a patch of black ice. Like, that's hard to prepare for, If you're
that's that 2%.
If you're in an area where, black ice happens and you're zipping through it, okay, that's stupid,
Yeah.
That's just being careless. That's, the risk. But you made the choice anyway.
Yeah.
That's kind of different.
But sometimes it is possible to do everything right and still lose.
A tree could snap and land on you. It could happen. It's happened plenty of times.
You could be a perfectly competent driver, hit that patch of black ice, and just skid off the road anyways because it was just your day.
Yeah, you turned just a little bit too inside. It could happen at any time.
Dog, squirrel.
Yeah, that's something.
That's that 2% right there.
And then right there, are you gonna just run over the little run
or dog?
Yeah,
moose, depending where you live. I'm just saying, gator,
moose. Yeah,
gators.
I'm taking these antlers home with me.
It just depends on where you live, I guess. So if you have the auto drive car, this is where it gets a little bit. This is the thought behind it.
Right.
98% of drivers or roadway accidents happen because me first.
Yeah.
1 million people a year die in automotive-related accidents.
Right.
So 98% of those million people didn't have to die. They only died because of human error.
Because of somebody's
stupidity.
Well, I was going to say greed or like narcissism.
Narcissism, stupidity, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so you're talking about what's 98% of, what is that? So 2% of 1 million. That's
200,000?
20,000.
2%?
Yeah.
I need to see it on paper.
So 980,000 people.
Yeah.
Basically died because of me first.
By at somebody else's hand, pretty much. Yeah.
Because somebody else just wasn't thinking, or just whatever it is.
Yeah.
So if you remove the human element, you could potentially save up to 980,000 people a year.
Yeah.
So that's why they're working on the
auto stuff. But I guess we won't get too deep into that because that's kind of where I start thinking about like public services. Like I'd rather see this person take buses or trains than drive a car or whatever. And you can sort of see that when you're driving around, and you see a vehicle that looks being held together by duct tape, and never mind. You just look at the license plate and like, okay, you're over 3 years out of registration.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're not doing something to obey by the rules. You know what I mean?
It's like, what is holding that bumper on?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna hang back because I don't want that going through the front of my car.
Dude, I see more cars without bumpers than I should. And in a year, like I see 2 or 3. Like that's too much, man.
Yeah. The smallest dent in these plastic bumper skins just destroys them, and they're outrageously expensive to replace.
Again, man, that's another kind of topic I would like to be. Stuff that's more expensive than it should, not only because of how much is replaced, but how much is needed. Like for me, ibuprofen, man. Why are we still paying, that much money for ibuprofen? You see tons of bottles out there, but I'm just like, $12 for 200 of these? Outrageous, man.
That's really cheap.
But it should be. That's how the price of ibuprofen was 20 years ago, man.
Well, then just be glad it hasn't gone up.
Yeah, that's not a good enough reason.
Hey, man, the dollar store is $1.25.
Well, see, I don't trust dollar store pharmacy. That's kind of different.
Well, I'll tell you what. Ibuprofen is $12 for a jar of like 200.
Yeah.
So 20 years ago, it was probably $8 for a jar of 200.
It was still about the same because I still don't feel like
Okay. 20 years ago, when I was doing my Larry routes, I would go to the dollar store and I'd get these bags of trail mix. They were 8-ounce bags.
Yeah.
for $1.
Yeah.
Now, and I could get one of those. That's breakfast, brunch, lunch, and afternoon snack. That's everything I needed
For that day.
as sustenance for a day.
Right.
I could feed myself for a day on $1.
Yeah.
If I wanted to get, I can't get that anymore. The bags that are there now are 3.5 ounces
So
for
more than
$1.
half.
Less than half
Yeah.
for $1.25.
That's
So shut up on your ibuprofen, man.
well, no. See, this is the issue though, where it's becoming like, well, that's a Dollar Tree issue, Like, why are they? That's what gets me. That when you see more stores open up, it's like, how do you have the funding to open shop, but you're still charging me? And that's how they have the money.
That's the cost of goods going up.
Yeah, that's kind of
That's what the government tried to call that shrinkflation. Packages are getting small. They're charging you more for smaller packages, and that's the corporate fault. No, stop printing money. That's what causes inflation. Stop printing money.
But see, you start digging that argument, and that gets me with now, like, Wendy's is the current one, Subway too, but it's like, oh, hey, we're going to lower the prices. Like, so you had the ability to lower the prices all this time, but because you got greedy and raised them too high, and people are starting to complain, now you're bringing them down. That's what gets me like, all right, whatever. Topic for another time. Last one. We got to wrap this up.
As I said, whenever there's a shock to the market, prices spike, and then they come back down a little bit.
So don't worry about it. Fake engine noises.
Yes, I hate that.
You know what? I haven't. The only way I've experienced it. Well, it's specifically mentioning like noises that sound like engines. Because like I hear the what's that car? The Tesla, and I hear the hover plane, the hoverboat, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that weird hover noise that all electrics make. Yeah.
But so okay. In your opinion, would you rather have that sound like an engine or just? Because I don't know. For me,
no, because don't lie to me.
Well, for me, a quiet car is also not safe. You know what I mean? In the daytime, if I'm crossing a Walmart parking lot, I'm not going to trust that. Oh, I don't hear no noise, so there's no car here. Or I turn and I didn't see a car, so I'm going to keep walking. But then there's an EV just kind of, and then just, and they accelerate like a madman. So all of a sudden, I see myself on the.
No, that's if you're getting ran over by electric cars in the Walmart parking lot, that's your fault for lack of situational awareness.
Even if they're right behind me and I'm walking, so I got to keep doing a behind my shoulder look.
Yes.
Oh no!
That's also their fault for not seeing the pedestrian that's right in front of them.
Yeah. See, that's
a double fault.
I don't think it's my fault for not peeking my shoulder.
Crash avoidance technology.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's kind of the other one where I see where they try to identify the pedestrians or whatever. But fake engine, I think from what
crash avoidance technology is pay attention to what you're doing.
Well, I haven't heard of them, but I'm assuming what it's talking about, like when the electric vehicle, you start it up, it's quiet, but when it does that boom and it sounds like an engine, when you accelerate or whatever, are they like that?
Hybrids?
Yeah. No, it just said electric vehicles.
Electric vehicles?
Yeah. Because hybrids have electric or
gas engines.
Yeah, so it has to, accommodate both. But this one's mentioning a Focus ST. It says, if the car isn't loud enough to be heard inside, fair enough. Let me listen to my kids scream or the radio. If I want to hear my car, I'll modify the intake or exhaust to do so.
That's what I was more thinking of. They make engine noises through the stereo.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's stupid.
There's cars, yeah, exactly. There's cars out there, it's like, the engine is not loud enough to be heard through the cabin.
Right.
But you've paid for this car, you want to be able to hear the engine or whatever. So they actually, and some cars, you can actually change it to different car, V8, V6, turbo, whatever.
Yeah.
You'll be able to select the noise it makes through your speakers.
Well, see, I think it was my sister's boyfriend's car. I heard him playing with the sounds one time, and I don't know if it's like for the driving sounds or just for the features when you're on the touchscreen or whatever, but it was making fart sounds. And of course, you gotta have your fart sounds. But, well, is that how it's gonna sound when you're driving? Just like farting all the way? But so you're saying there's features that when, as the driver in your car, through your speaker, it'll play motor sounds?
You can, you'll have recordings of V8 Mustang
so you
playing
could be,
while you're in your Focus ST.
So I could be in my little Prius and make it sound like McLaren.
McLaren, yeah.
McLaren, yeah.
Yeah, so you're hearing that through the speakers. back.
You sound like you're the Indy 500 when you're like going through the Walmart parking lot.
No, people around you don't hear it. You hear it.
See, that's what was getting me. I thought it was for other people. Then it's even less useful. Yeah. All right.
No, it's you're choosing to lie to yourself about having your car's not making any noise.
How much can you like personalize? Like, can I make my car sound like Mario Kart? You know, as I'm going on the freeway at the 180 or something.
I don't know.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Okay, now I'm over for engine noises. And so if it's coming through your stereo, you can't listen to your radio, Wyatt?
Yeah, it probably does.
Yeah, that's even dumber. I'm listening
So
to
got
my
the two things over each other. Yeah.
Well, I got my Megadeth going, and all of a sudden you hear like beep beep. You know, it's just it's not the same appeal. And again, it's for my benefit. You know, I'm sitting there giggling like a schoolgirl, and this guy next to me is just kind of like, "What's that doing? His car's off, and he's sitting there."
I'll have what he's having. He looks like he's having a good time in there.
Buddy, I don't think you should be doing that in driving, but hey, you're enjoying your dead self. That's all good for you. That's funny though. Engine sounds. That's kind of I misinterpreted that because I thought it was for the benefit of other cars.
I remember them talking about that on Top Gear.
So that's how. Well, I guess how long ago? Like how. That's a weird tech that I didn't know was that prevalent, man.
5-10 years coming along. Yeah.
Oh, that's awful, man. If we haven't gotten rid of that, that should have been one of those one-offs where they tried it and people were like immediately, no, that's stupid, and then it dies off. Not where, as the more electric vehicles are coming out, the more they're sort of leaning into that because they got nothing better to do, I guess. You got the sound engineers like, let's make it sound like the little hong hong, the little.
I want the clown horn.
Or harpo. Yeah. Or play the cucaracha whenever the cop pulls me over. I don't know, man.
I want the Flight of the Valkyries.
Oh shit! But again, it's you feel all badass, but everyone's just watching you like what's his deal, man? He's sitting there pounding his chest and like
well, my horn to sound my horn sounds like you're about to be Viking rated.
yeah that'd be a cool way to like pull into work though. You're going into your menial job for your boss to kick you around, but you go in with your little Custer's last charge or something, man.
Oh, the charge.
Taking this one, here's my cutlass, you jerk. I don't know. All right, Mike, that's all we got, man.
That's all we got for that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we'll wrap up there.
Well, so what's your what's the car tech, since you're probably better at this, that's gone away that should come back?
Gone away but come back?
Yeah.
Vent windows.
What are those vent windows?
Okay, so back in the 80s, 70s, 50s, you had the little triangle window right there.
Okay, that's what I thought.
You can just pop that open, get just a little bit of fresh air.
Damn, that seemed like it died way back in like 80s because my dad's 60-something pickup had it, but I can't think of any car.
I think the 90s Ford F-150 was like the last vehicle to have that.
Because that was the last sort of industrial heavy duty type vehicle. You know what I mean?
That was the last. Yeah, it was the last good truck Ford made.
That's the one that you see people riding it to like hundreds of thousands these days.
Oh yeah, there is a electrical company here in town that has one as a fleet vehicle. That beast refuses to die.
Have you guys worked on it or anything?
Several times.
Damn.
It's just sitting there. It's got the 351. 5.8 in it, and it's just
that sounds mighty.
It is a basic ass truck. It's got electric windows, and that's it.
But see, you get in it and you start it up, you're moving around, and you feel like you're in a tank. You feel like
this is this giant metal box.
It's slow to accelerate because it's beefy, but
0 to 60 eventually.
But it has that you feel like you're riding a monster. You feel
I could drive this through a building.
Yeah. You're like you see a car braking fast, and you're like, that sucks to be you, little guy. But
I'm just gonna go over this.
It's inconvenient speed bump. But we have a F-150. It's like a 2014-15 at work, and it's a decent truck. But when you're driving in it, you see a Fiat coming your way, and you're like, oh man, we're in some trouble. you don't feel as safe.
You're conscious of all the plastic.
Yeah, that's
it doesn't feel as structurally as sound.
I've never seen anybody knock on their car anymore. Back in the day, you knock on a hood and your knuckles hurt a little bit. These days, you dent that bad boy.
Oh, especially with Fords because they're aluminum.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, aluminum. Don't rest your soda on the hood too long because it's gonna melt.
Dent.
Yeah, it's gonna dent.
And if you think body and fender work's expensive, find somebody that can actually work aluminum. Money.
Yeah. Pull up to his gold-plated house, man, because the guy's got it made.
Because working on sheet metal, mild steel, working on that and welding that, I got my little BuzzBox welder from a Harbor Freight for about $120.
You could bondle the shit out of a car pretty good, you know? Not. I've seen cars bondle like crazy, so it's not too big.
I mean, yeah, but you know, you can get a hammer and work on some mild steel and get a welder from Harbor Freight.
Yeah, you can make it work. Yeah,
you can make it work. Like I learned how to weld putting the front end of my car back together.
But aluminum,
you need a whole different skill set.
Yeah, you need a whole lot of practice for that.
Because here's one of the things about welding aluminum.
What?
Okay, take a piece of steel, heat it up. What
happens? I know what you're going. Yeah.
It turns red.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it turns white when it gets really hot.
If it's too hot, yeah.
Yeah. Aluminum, it don't do that. It's just there, and then it's not.
Yeah, I mean, I figured because it's so sensitive, like it's so
It's a much softer material.
Yeah, so it burns quicker, and it's hard to play with or whatever.
You know, so tempering your welds so that you don't just burns through stuff.
Yeah, punching through it. Yeah,
it's harder. So it takes a different. You got to have a what they call a spool gun.
Yeah,
not just a welding torch, but you got to have a spool gun. And so it's different tools, different techniques, different skill.
Yeah.
And most guys can't do it.
So go back to regular welding because you could be a lot. I can't imagine. Maybe I'll look up a video like that working on aluminum because I'm curious about not only like say when they patch it up or whatever, but like the grinding and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, oh man, I can't imagine. It probably grinds easier. I'm assuming because it's softer.
Softer, yeah.
But again, it's a bigger margin of error.
Oh yeah, it's a lot easier to make a mistake.
Yeah, to punch through it.
We used to have problems with that when I worked at DPS Telecom because most of what we'd made was made of aluminum.
Oh shit!
So you kind of got used to working with it, and it is a less forgiving material than steel.
Yeah. You need a more finesse with it or something.
You got to be more certain of what you're doing, and finesse is definitely key.
Yeah.
So it's a different game. And it's just not as strong as steel.
Yeah.
If you watch an F-150 going over stuff, you'll see the body flex.
Because of the air interference and stuff? But I mean because of the air interference and stuff?
No, it's aluminum.
So as it's like...
just less rigid than steel.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
They try to say that, oh no, that's a feature. No, sucker, that's lack of structural rigidity.
Yeah, why is it a feature that it's lighter, but it's like okay, so it's not as strong, and it's again bigger margin of error. Like it seems more difficult, but it's a feature.
But it gets better gas mileage.
That's when it's like okay, by what? And it's like 0.02, and it's like
the tailpipe emissions are cleaner, and you get better gas mileage and less tailpipe emissions. Thank you, EPA.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Well, on that note,
whether or not you like the truck doesn't matter because they know you're going to buy it anyways.
Yeah, that's probably a good point. So yeah, that's the best way to wrap up this list. Even with all these annoying techs, you're going to buy the car anyway.
That's right.
Yeah, so suck it up, losers.
And you know what? And the auto industry is not the only one that does that.
Nah, let's not even go there. It's funny because while we're talking about them, I keep thinking about like motorcycles because when we talk about like working on them, and I thought like Ducati and the fiberglass.
I was thinking hamburgers.
Yeah, well, I don't even. I'm just thinking of Ducatis.
I can't go to this Burger King anymore. I haven't been there to that one in years because I'm just like I'm done.
It's like 2 blocks too, man. You can walk to it and back in a half hour.
There are several burger places that are further that I will go to
because of the quality.
Because the quality's better.
Yeah, man. You go where the taste is.
It's right. I will not go to this one.
So in other words, when it comes to the car tech, just go to the ones you like. But that doesn't ring true because everybody's going to go where they go to anyway.
Yeah. And actually, you know what? As far as car tech, really the only ones making a decent truck right now or car, again, Toyota. They are the least crappy vehicles on the market right now.
So if you get a current day Toyota Tundra and a 30-year-old Toyota Tundra, there's not that big of a gap as far as quality, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Versus like you buy a Ford truck or...
Actually, I would say just stick with the Tundras to me aren't... a good size...
They're both too expensive.
A well-equipped Tacoma
yeah.
is probably better than most Tundras. Tundras are just a little too...
kind of fancy,
superfluous for their own good.
Yeah,
they're just too loaded up. It just doesn't seem like it's as good.
See, I wasn't sure which is like the higher name or whatever.
The Tundra's the bigger one.
Oh, okay.
And to me, it's just like the Tacoma is just a better truck than the Tundra.
Yeah.
The Tacomas are bigger. I guess it hauls more, but the Tacoma's a better truck.
Well, that's always funny that people still talk about like what hauls more is like. What are you hauling, man? Just groceries? Like a plywood from Lowe's once in a while? Like it just doesn't seem feasible.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point too, because if you're really putting this thing to its paces, like you're a contractor hauling a two or three axle trailer.
Yeah.
And so you need something up there with like a 3/4 or a 1 ton truck. You're probably going to get the Ford or the Chevy anyways.
Yeah. Because the warranties, I don't know, man.
No, it's just I don't know if it's just mindset,
name recognition,
because this is where Jay and I used to we developed a standard for what is a truck.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And if it's not used by construction workers, it's not a truck, son.
You don't see them using 150s
All the time.
Oh, okay.
Silverados all the time.
Yeah.
The occasional Dodge Ram. Sometimes even
an older one. Usually an older one.
Yeah. You'll get the odd Nissan Titan, Tacoma, or Tundra.
Yeah.
But most constructions are Silverados and F-150s. When it comes to
like a rock.
When it comes to the 1 tons, Fords and Chevys.
Yeah.
Every time. Except for the diesels. Diesels, it'll usually be Ford or Dodge.
Every time I see diesels, they're always the cleanest ones on the road for some reason. The Cab Kings or whatever, King Cabs or something.
Yeah. That's usually the guy that owns the construction company.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're very right. Yeah, that usually
the
is.
clean truck is the guy. That's the boss's truck.
That's the big boss man. Yeah,
that's the boss's truck. The fleet vehicles are dirty as shit. Oh my god.
Dance, dirt everywhere. Yeah. All right, let's wrap this up, Mark.
I can do this all day.
Yeah, let's do. If nothing else from this episode or these 2 episodes, buy Toyota.
Yeah.
Sponsored by Toyota. I wish.
I wish.
Yeah. Give me a 20-year-old Prius. I don't care, man.
Email me.
Yeah. I'm I don't mind wearing Toyota shirts for the rest of my life, man. I'm a sponsor whore. Just do it.
Ivan Stewart was the man. I know you played off-road.
Off-road?
The arcade game?
Oh, man. I don't remember that one at all. It's not RCAM, right? Because it's similar to it.
That's the one where it's like you're standing there, you press the pedal, and you got the little steering wheel, and you're just these little RC vehicles running.
I used to suck at those little...
If you looked up at the banner, it said Ivan Stewart, Iron Stewart's Off-Road.
Oh, that's the name of it?
That was him.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s, he ran Toyota trucks through like the Baja 1000.
Oh, they don't put it on the game. Oh, they should have put that on the game. All that Toyota branding. Yeah.
Yeah. But, he came up with the game, I think. The company he owned came up with that. But he was one of the guys that really solidified and Americanized the Toyota brand.
Made it acceptable.
Here in America, like, wow, he drove that thing 1,000 miles through the desert and won that championship race. Those must be good trucks.
They must be good, yeah. Put it through the paces, yeah.
Yeah.
Not just a little commercial we see now where the Jeep, they have it up on that little slant, so it looks like, look at it, it's off-road, like that little car.
I know you put that in there where the helicopter is.
Yeah, you dropped it in there, yeah. Wait, are those hubs even moving? I don't see no lug nuts on there.
Yeah.
All right, talk to you guys next time.
Later, Tater.
Bye-bye. Later, Tater. And scene.